Arkansas, often called the natural state, is renowned for its breathtaking landscapes. From the Ozark Mountains to the Washita National Forest, sparkling rivers, and mysterious caves. Yet, beneath the serene beauty of these natural wonders lies a darker side. Many of these locations harbor chilling legends, mysterious occurrences, and ghostly tales that have been whispered through generations. Tonight, we delve deep into 25 of the most haunted natural places in Arkansas, exploring their terrifying histories, legends, and first-hand accounts of paranormal encounters. Prepare yourself for a journey where nature's beauty intertwines with spine-tingling horror. Devil's Den State Park, tucked away in the rugged beauty of the Ozark Mountains, is one of Arkansas's most beloved natural escapes. Known for its dramatic rock formations, twisting caves, and shadowed trails, the park draws hikers, campers, and explorers from near and far. During the day, the sunlight filters through dense foliage, illuminating moss-covered cliffs and sparkling streams, creating an almost magical atmosphere. Yet as evening descends and the forest grows quiet, an eerie presence seems to awaken, transforming the park from a scenic retreat into a realm where the veil between the living and the dead feels unusually thin. The history of Devil's Den is as complex as its jagged trails. Long before settlers arrived, the area was home to Native American tribes, who left behind evidence of their life and rituals among the caves and cliffs. Generations later, pioneers and settlers moved into the Ozarks, carving homesteads, hunting the forests, and attempting to make a life in the rugged terrain. The isolation of the park meant that accidents were common, and many perished in storms, falls, or disease. Local legend holds that the spirits of these early inhabitants, both Native Americans and settlers, remain tied to the land, haunting the caves, cliffs, and dense forest trails that witnessed their struggles. Visitors frequently report strange sensations and unexplained phenomena, particularly in the late hours of the evening. Hikers recount sudden drops in temperature along secluded paths, a chilling breeze in areas where the wind should not reach. Some speak of the unsettling feeling of being watched, even when no one else is nearby. Shadows are often seen moving at the edge of the vision, flitting between trees or around rock formations, disappearing the moment one looks directly. Others have described hearing whispers that carry across the forest floor. Voices too soft to identify, yet insistent enough to leave an impression. The park's natural acoustics, with its caves and cliffs, may amplify ordinary sounds, but many who experience these phenomena are certain they are witnessing something beyond explanation. The caves of Devil's Den are particularly infamous among those seeking the supernatural. At dusk, the entrances seem to darken unnaturally, and visitors report glimpsing fleeting figures just inside the shadows. Some claim to have seen shapes resembling humans or animals moving through the darkness, only to vanish when approached. Others describe hearing screams echoing through the winding tunnels, high-pitched, desperate, and impossible to locate. These chilling accounts have fueled stories of trapped spirits, lost travelers, and echoes of tragic events from centuries past. For some, these experiences are fleeting and subtle. For others, they are profoundly unsettling, leaving a lingering sense of unease long after leaving the park. Among the most widely circulated tales is that of the Canyon Shadow, a figure said to appear along the narrow gorges and rocky paths just before nightfall. Witnesses describe it as a tall, dark silhouette that moves silently among the cliffs, watching hikers from a distance. No one has reported direct contact, but many hikers claim that merely seeing it causes a deep, primal fear. Some speculate it may be the spirit of a lost settler, forever wandering the park in search of something unattainable. Others believe it to be a residual energy, a fragment of past tragedies replaying endlessly across the landscape. Campers are not immune to the park's unnerving activity. Many have reported tents being disturbed during the night zippers opening and closing, shadows passing outside, and the feeling that someone or something is moving just beyond the edge of the campsite. Whispered sounds often rise from the forest after dark, punctuated occasionally by a distant scream or the rustling of leaves without wind. Some campers describe the sensation of footsteps approaching their tent and then stopping abruptly, leaving an eerie silence that feels almost intentional. While some dismiss these encounters as natural sounds of the forest or the imagination of the mind in darkness, repeated accounts by experienced campers and guides have solidified the park's reputation as a place where the supernatural may linger. The geography of Devil's Den only seems to heighten its haunting presence. The park's deep gorges, winding trails, and hidden caves create natural corridors where sound and shadow play tricks on the senses. Rocks jut from the earth at odd angles, forming alcoves and overhangs that obscure vision and amplify echoes. Streams wind unpredictably through the terrain, and dense trees cast long shadows that shift with the moonlight. Visitors often find that familiar trails take on a disorienting quality after dark, with paths seeming longer and more convoluted than during the day. Many believe that the land itself holds memory, preserving the energy of those who lived, suffered, or died there, and that it interacts with anyone who enters after dark. Despite its eerie reputation, Devil's Den remains a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The park's haunting beauty is undeniable, offering a rare combination of adventure and mystery. For some, the unexplained shadows, whispered voices, and fleeting figures add an element of thrill to their visit, enhancing the allure of exploring the Ozarks. Guides and locals often advise hikers and campers to respect the land, to be aware of their surroundings, and to remain mindful of the stories that have been passed down through generations. Whether these tales are rooted in history, superstition, or genuine paranormal activity, they have become an intrinsic part of the park's identity. In the end, Devil's Den State Park is more than just a scenic escape. It is a place where history, tragedy, and the natural world intertwine. The caves, cliffs, and shadowed trails hold stories that refuse to fade, leaving an imprint on those who enter. For those willing to explore its depths, the park offers not only breathtaking landscapes, but also a haunting reminder of the lives that have intersected with its rugged terrain. Every echo in the canyon, every flicker of shadow at dusk, and every whisper carried on the wind serves as a testament to the enduring presence of the past in the heart of the Ozark Mountains. Visitors leave Devil's Den with memories of natural beauty, adventure, and sometimes an inexplicable unease, knowing that the forest and caves they explored may still hold the restless spirits of those who came before. In the quiet moments of twilight, when the wind rustles the trees and the shadows lengthen across the rock formations, the park reminds all who enter that nature in Arkansas is as mysterious as it is beautiful, and that some legends are very real. Petit Mountain State Park, rising sharply above the Arkansas River Valley, is a striking natural landmark that draws hikers, nature enthusiasts, and photographers from across the region. Its forested slopes, rocky ridges, and panoramic views offer a serene escape from urban life. Yet beneath the beauty of its trails and overlooks lies a history that many say is imbued with a chilling presence. Over the years, hikers and visitors have reported experiences that defy explanation: sudden cold spots, fleeting apparitions, and an unmistakable sensation of being watched. The mountain's haunting reputation has grown, fueled by stories of early settlers, soldiers, and others who once walked these same paths and whose spirits may still linger. The origins of Petit Mountain's eerie reputation trace back centuries. Long before modern trails and scenic overlooks, the land was home to Native American tribes who hunted and gathered across the valley. Later, settlers and soldiers traversed the area, establishing small homesteads and strategic outposts. Life on and around the mountain was often harsh, with injuries, illness, and accidental deaths leaving their mark. Locals have long whispered that the souls of these early inhabitants did not fully depart. Their energies entwined with the rocky slopes, dense forests, and hidden clearings of Petit Mountain. Over time, their lingering presence has become a subtle but persistent part of the mountain's atmosphere. Hikers ascending the mountain often describe the feeling of being observed, even in areas devoid of other visitors. Trails that seem familiar by day can feel strange and unsettling when the woods grow quiet. Sudden drops in temperature are a common report, with some hikers experiencing icy cold spots in the middle of summer, often accompanied by an inexplicable sense of unease. Shadows flicker at the edges of vision, sometimes taking the shape of human figures that vanish the moment they are fully seen. Whispered voices and indistinct murmurs have been heard along forested paths, echoing through the trees and leaving visitors questioning whether they are hearing the wind or something far more sinister. One of the most frequently reported entities is known locally as the Watcher of the Ridge. Witnesses describe a tall, shadowy figure seen near the mountains, overlooks, or along narrow ridges. The figure does not approach but maintains an unyielding presence, watching hikers as they pass. Some believe this spirit is the remnant of a soldier or settler who met an untimely death on the mountain. Others speculate that it may be a guardian of the land, a lingering soul tasked with observing the living and ensuring the balance of the natural world is maintained. Those who have glimpsed the Watcher often report a deep, instinctual fear, yet strangely, the spirit is never described as aggressive or harmful. It merely observes. In addition to shadowy figures, visitors have recounted seeing fleeting apparitions on the trails. Some hikers report the sudden appearance of a figure dressed in early pioneer clothing, wandering along the path before disappearing into the trees. Others describe seeing what appears to be soldiers in historical uniforms, moving silently through the woods, vanishing when approached. These experiences often leave hikers shaken, with the sense that the mountain itself is alive with memory, preserving echoes of its past. Even experienced outdoors enthusiasts, accustomed to interpreting natural sounds and shadows, describe moments on Pinnacle Mountain that cannot be rationally explained. Cold spots and sudden gusts of wind are particularly common near the mountain's summits and ridge lines. Hikers often feel icy chills that seem to emanate from nowhere, sometimes accompanied by a tingling sensation on the skin, as though an unseen presence has passed close by. Even on sunny, calm days, these inexplicable temperature drops create a dissonance that is difficult to ignore. Some speculate that the mountain retains residual energy from past lives, disasters, or tragedies, and that this energy manifests in ways that are perceptible to the sensitive observer. The forested trails of Pinnacle Mountain add to the unsettling experiences. The thick canopy can create sudden darkness, even at midday, and the interplay of sunlight and shadows often gives rise to illusions of movement. Sounds travel in unexpected ways through the trees, making it difficult to identify the source of footsteps, whispers, or rustling leaves. Hikers have reported feeling a presence behind them, only to turn and see nothing. In some cases, multiple people in a group have independently sensed the same unease, reinforcing the notion that the phenomenon is more than mere imagination. Several specific locations within the park have become focal points for supernatural experiences. Near the West Summit Trail, hikers often describe seeing a figure standing at the edge of the overlook, fading as they approach. Along the East Trail, strange sounds resembling soft voices or distant cries have been reported, sometimes recurring at the same spots over months or years. Campers who venture into the more secluded areas of the park at night have shared stories of shadows moving between trees and the feeling of unseen eyes tracking their every movement. Even park staff acknowledge that the mountain holds an energy that is difficult to explain, often advising visitors to remain aware of their surroundings and to respect the trail's history. Despite or perhaps because of its haunted reputation, Pinnacle Mountain State Park continues to attract countless visitors each year. The beauty of the landscape, combined with the thrill of potential paranormal encounters, draws hikers and explorers who seek both adventure and mystery. Some approach the mountain with skepticism, dismissing the tales as legend or coincidence. Yet many find themselves experiencing moments that challenge rational explanation. The combination of rugged terrain, dense forests, and a deep history of human presence creates an environment where the natural and the supernatural intersect in subtle and profound ways. Pinnacle Mountain stands as more than a scenic destination. It is a repository of history, memory, and lingering presence. Each trail, cliff, and wooded path carries echoes of the past, preserving the experiences of those who lived, worked, and sometimes died on its slopes. The mountain's ghostly apparitions, sudden cold spots, and mysterious whispers are reminders that the land remembers, and that visitors who tread its trails are not truly alone. For those who hike Pinnacle Mountain, the experience is both breathtaking and unnerving, a journey through natural beauty infused with the presence of unseen observers, where the past quietly intertwines with the present, and where every shadow and whisper tells a story of lives that refuse to be forgotten. Mount Magazine, standing as the highest peak in Arkansas, rises majestically above the surrounding valleys, offering visitors breathtaking views of the Ozark landscape. Its slopes are covered with dense forests, wildflowers, and winding trails that lead to rocky overlooks and cliffs, making it a haven for hikers, photographers, and nature enthusiasts. By day, the mountain's beauty is undeniable. Sunlight glimmers across its ridges, and the valleys stretch endlessly into the horizon. But as night falls and fog rolls over the peaks, a different atmosphere emerges, one imbued with mystery, whispers of the past, and ghostly legends that have haunted the mountain for generations. The mountain's eerie reputation is intertwined with its history. Long before modern development, Native American tribes traversed the ridges and valleys, leaving behind traces of their presence in stories, artifacts, and the very names of the landscape. In later years, settlers and travelers attempted to tame the wilderness, establishing homesteads and hunting grounds along its slopes. Life was often harsh on Mount Magazine, with treacherous cliffs, sudden storms, and isolation making survival difficult. It is said that many who lived or traveled here met untimely deaths, leaving their spirits forever tied to the land. Among the most famous legends is that of a mysterious hermit, a man who lived alone on the mountain and vanished without explanation. Yet sightings of a pale, wandering figure have persisted near the summit. Visitors frequently recount encounters that defy rational explanation. Fog on Mount Magazine is common, swirling thickly around the ridges and valleys, creating an otherworldly environment where visibility is low and shadows loom large. Many hikers have reported seeing figures emerge from the mist, often pale, indistinct, and vanishing as soon as they are approached. These apparitions are sometimes described as human-like, but otherworldly, moving silently along the ridges or across the overlooks. Some speculate they are the remnants of the hermit or other lost souls who never left a mountain, their presence captured in the fog that blankets the peaks. Mysterious lights are another frequent phenomenon reported by visitors to Mount Magazine. Hikers and campers have described small orbs of light floating along trails, appearing near cliffs, or flickering among the trees. These lights often move in ways inconsistent with natural sources, such as fireflies or lanterns. Some accounts describe the lights as drawing closer to observers, only to vanish suddenly, leaving behind an unsettling silence. Legends suggest that these lights are tied to the mountain's spectral inhabitants, perhaps guiding travelers or warning them of unseen dangers, though no one has been able to explain their exact origin. The hermit legend is particularly chilling. According to local lore, a solitary man once made the mountain his home, living in the wilderness, far from civilization. One day, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind his cabin and belongings, sometimes standing at the edge of cliffs or disappearing into the fog. Witnesses often report a sudden drop in temperature when the figure appears, accompanied by an almost tangible sense of being observed. Many believe the hermit's spirit lingers, bound to the mountain he once called home, wandering endlessly in solitude. Visitors have also reported hearing disembodied voices and footsteps, particularly near the more secluded trails and overlooks. Whispers in the wind, faint cries, or murmurs that seem to come from nowhere create a haunting backdrop to the natural sounds of the forest. Some hikers have described the sensation of unseen eyes following them as they navigate foggy paths, or the feeling of being brushed past by an invisible presence. Even experienced outdoorsmen, familiar with the tricks of light, shadow, and sound in the wilderness, describe these occurrences as inexplicable and unnerving. Cliffs and overlooks on Mount Magazine are common sites for paranormal encounters. Several witnesses describe seeing figures at the edges of precipices, their forms indistinct but undeniably human. The fog often seems to move in patterns that enhance the illusion of motion, yet multiple observers have reported these phenomena simultaneously, strengthening the notion that something more than natural optical effects is at play. In some cases, campers and hikers have felt compelled to leave certain areas at night, sensing a presence that defies explanation. Even the mountain's wildlife seems to contribute to its otherworldly atmosphere. Sounds of animals' howls, rustling, and distant calls sometimes blend with human-like noises, making it difficult to discern natural events from supernatural occurrences. Hikers have reported hearing footsteps that mimic human walking, yet upon investigation, no living creature is found. Others describe shadowy forms moving through the trees, vanishing before they can be identified, reinforcing the sense that Mount Magazine is alive with unseen watchers. Despite the mountain's haunted reputation, visitors continue to explore its trails and summits, drawn by the beauty, challenge, and mystery it offers. For some, the ghostly legends enhance the experience, creating a thrill that is as compelling as the physical journey. Park guides occasionally share the stories of the hermit and other apparitions, reminding hikers to respect the mountain and its history. Whether one encounters a figure in the fog, witnesses a mysterious light, or simply feels an unexplained chill, the mountain leaves a lasting impression that lingers long after the hike is over. Mount Magazine is more than a natural landmark. It is a living repository of memory, legend, and lingering presence. The fog-shrouded ridges, quiet trails, and towering cliffs hold the echoes of lives once lived and spirits that may never rest. The pale figure of the hermit, ghostly lights, and inexplicable sounds serve as reminders that the mountain is not simply a scenic destination, but a place where the past and present converge. Every visit offers not only breathtaking views, but also the possibility of experiencing something beyond the ordinary, a brush with the unknown that challenges perceptions of reality and nature. For those who ascend Mount Magazine, the experience is unforgettable. The beauty of the peaks and valleys is undeniable. But intertwined with that splendor is an enduring sense of mystery and the subtle presence of spirits who never left. The fog, the lights, the shadows, they all serve as whispers of the mountain's haunted past, urging every visitor to tread carefully, observe respectfully, and remember that in the highest reaches of Arkansas, some legends are terrifyingly real. Lake Ouachita, nestled in the heart of the Ouachita Mountains, is often celebrated for its crystal-clear waters, dense surrounding forests, and abundant wildlife. Stretching over 40 miles with more than 1,000 miles of shoreline, it is a favorite destination for boating, fishing, camping, and hiking. By day, the lake sparkles under the sun, reflecting the rolling hills and pine-covered slopes that frame it. Yet, beneath its serene surface and peaceful scenery lies a darker, more unsettling side. Visitors and locals alike speak in hushed tones of ghostly apparitions, phantom voices, and mysterious disturbances, suggesting that Lake Ouachita may be as haunted as it is beautiful. The lake's eerie reputation is rooted in its long and sometimes tragic history. Before it became a modern recreational area, the land was home to Native American tribes who relied on the river and its tributaries for sustenance. With the arrival of settlers, accidents and misadventures became common. Men lost to storms, drownings, and treacherous waters. When Lake Ouachita was artificially expanded with the construction of Blakely Mountain Dam in the mid-20th century, many stories emerged of spirits tied to the area, lingering near the waters where life was lost. To this day, boaters and campers report experiences that suggest the presence of these restless souls, manifesting in both subtle and startling ways. One of the most commonly reported phenomena involves phantom voices. Boaters who navigate the lake during the quiet hours of dawn or dusk have described hearing faint conversations carried across the water, voices that seem human yet impossible to locate. Sometimes the murmurs rise into distressing cries or laughter, echoing eerily over the calm lake. Those who have experienced these sounds report a sudden chill in the air, a palpable sense of unease, and the uncanny feeling that someone or something is nearby. Watching silently from the shoreline or the surrounding forest, attempts to track the voices almost always end in frustration, as they vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving only an unsettling silence. In addition to phantom voices, numerous visitors have reported seeing unexplained figures along the shoreline. Campers describe shadowy shapes moving through the trees at the water's edge, sometimes glimpsed from the corner of the eye, disappearing when observed directly. Boaters recount sightings of figures standing on remote banks, their forms pale or indistinct, vanishing into the darkness or mist before they can be approached. Some witnesses claim these figures resemble long-dead settlers or travelers, their presence tied to tragic accidents or unresolved stories from the lake's history. Others suggest that the figures may be spirits of those who perished in storms or drowned, wandering the edges of the water in eternal search of peace. Lake Ouachita's calm waters can be deceptive, hiding sudden ripples and disturbances that seem to appear without natural cause. Several campers have reported noticing waves breaking along the shore on nights when the water should be still, often accompanied by whispers or an eerie silence that seems to intensify the sensation of being watched. Some believe these ripples are created by the spirits of the drowned, restless and unseen beneath the water's surface. Anglers and boaters occasionally experience unexplainable splashes or the feeling that something brushes against their vessels, reinforcing the lake's reputation as a place where the living and the dead intersect. Fog is another element that enhances the lake's haunted atmosphere. On quiet mornings, a thick mist often rolls over the water, reducing visibility and softening the outlines of trees, rocks, and distant hills. Many hikers and campers report seeing figures emerge from the fog, only to vanish moments later. The mist seems to carry sound unusually well, making whispered voices and distant calls feel unnervingly close. Boaters navigating the lake in these conditions often describe a sense of isolation and vulnerability, as though unseen eyes follow them through the haze, creating a tension that can linger long after they return to shore. Some areas of Lake Ouachita are particularly noted for paranormal activity. Remote coves and narrow inlets are common sites for reported ghostly encounters. Campers in these spots often recount waking to the sound of footsteps on sand or gravel when no one else is present, hearing voices calling out names or laughing softly in the night, and glimpsing fleeting shadows among the trees. Witnesses describe an oppressive atmosphere that intensifies in the darkness, accompanied by sudden chills and a sense of being observed, suggesting that some spirits remain attached to the land and water where they once lived or died. Local legends provide a framework for these haunting experiences. Stories abound of fishermen who vanished without explanation, settlers lost during sudden storms, and travelers who never made it home. These tales are reinforced by repeated reports of unexplained activity in the same locations, giving credence to the idea that the lake is imbued with the memory of past tragedies. Visitors often find themselves retracing the steps of history, sometimes encountering phenomena that blur the line between natural and supernatural. Despite its reputation, Lake Ouachita remains a beloved destination. Its natural beauty, combined with the thrill of encountering the unexplained, draws countless visitors each year. Some come seeking solitude and reflection, while others are drawn by curiosity about the lake's haunted reputation. For many, the ghostly voices, shadowy figures, and mysterious ripples add an element of fascination and excitement to an already breathtaking landscape. Park rangers and locals often advise visitors to exercise caution, respect the land, and remain aware of their surroundings, as the lake spirits may not always be content to remain unseen. Lake Ouachita is more than just a scenic retreat. It is a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural converge. Its pristine waters hide echoes of lives lost and unresolved, carrying the whispers and shadows of those who once walked its shores or succumbed to its depths. The fog, ripples, and figures glimpsed at the water's edge remind visitors that some presences cannot be explained by science or reason alone. Each nightfall over Lake Ouachita brings with it the possibility of encountering the unknown. A chilling reminder that beauty and horror can coexist in the same landscape. For those who visit, the experience of Lake Ouachita is unforgettable. The sparkling waters and verdant forests are matched by an underlying sense of mystery, a subtle but persistent awareness that the past lingers here. The phantom voices, shadowy figures, and unexplained ripples serve as a testament to the lake's haunted legacy, leaving a lasting impression on anyone who dares to explore its shores after dark. In Lake Ouachita, nature and the supernatural entwine, creating an atmosphere where beauty is inseparable from terror, and where the spirits of the lost continue to whisper across the water. Ouachita National Forest, sprawling across western Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma, is a vast expanse of dense woodlands, rugged hills, and winding trails that draw hikers, campers, and nature enthusiasts from across the country. Its pine and oak forests, crystal-clear streams, and rocky ridges provide both solitude and adventure, offering a retreat from the modern world. By day, the forest is alive with birdsong, rustling leaves, and the occasional splash of a creek. Yet beneath this serene beauty lies a darker presence, one that has inspired tales of the unexplained for generations. Visitors frequently report experiences that suggest the forest is more than just a collection of trees and trails. It is a landscape where history, tragedy, and the supernatural converge. The Ouachitas have a rich and complex history. Native American tribes once traversed these lands, hunting, gathering, and leaving traces of their presence in artifacts and oral traditions. Later, settlers and explorers carved paths through the forest, enduring harsh conditions, accidents, and the isolation of the wilderness. Many of these individuals never returned, their fates unknown, leaving a lingering sense that the forest itself remembers their struggles. Over time, tales emerged of lost hikers, disappearing explorers, and restless spirits, forming a foundation for the forest's reputation as a place where the ordinary and the otherworldly meet. Hikers and campers are often the first to encounter the forest's mysterious side. Along isolated trails, many report the sensation of being watched, accompanied by sudden chills or goosebumps, even on warm days. Some describe feeling unseen hands brush against their arms or shoulders, a fleeting touch that vanishes as quickly as it appears. These sensations are often paired with whispers that seem to come from empty clearings or the dense undergrowth, voices too soft to understand, yet unmistakably present. Visitors frequently pause, scanning the surrounding trees, but see nothing, only the stillness of the forest and the shifting patterns of light and shadow. Apparitions are another phenomenon that adds to the forest's eerie reputation. Hikers have described pale figures emerging from the tree line, sometimes appearing as explorers or settlers dressed in period clothing. These figures often move slowly, silently, vanishing when approached or observed directly. Some witnesses report seeing groups of figures in the distance, walking along ridgelines or through clearings before dissolving into the forest. Others have seen fleeting glimpses of shapes near streams or abandoned paths, only to find the area empty moments later. These experiences leave a lasting impression, a sense that the forest is inhabited not just by wildlife, but by the memories and spirits of those who wandered its trails long ago. The dense foliage and rugged terrain of the Ouachita National Forest contribute to these paranormal experiences. Narrow trails twist through thick woods, and rocky ridges create hidden pockets where shadows gather. Sounds carry unpredictably, making distant movements seem unnervingly close. The forest's streams and waterfalls can amplify or distort noises, causing footsteps, voices, and other sounds to echo through the trees. Even experienced hikers have reported moments when they cannot distinguish between natural sounds and something more mysterious, heightening the sense of unease and the impression that the forest is alive with unseen watchers. Many of the forest's ghostly encounters occur near historical landmarks and isolated spots. Old logging roads, abandoned campsites, and remote ridges are frequent sites for reports of unexplained phenomena. Visitors have recounted hearing voices calling out names, footsteps following them along empty paths, and shadows flitting between trees just beyond the reach of their vision. Campers sometimes experience disturbances at night, tents rustled by invisible forces, distant noises echoing across the forest, and the occasional feeling of being observed. Even in groups, these sensations can be deeply personal, leaving each person with an individual sense of presence or unease. Local legends add further weight to these experiences. Stories of explorers who vanished while mapping the forest, settlers lost during storms, and travelers who disappeared without a trace have circulated for generations. Many believe that the spirits of these individuals continue to wander the forest, retracing familiar trails, or lingering near the spots where their lives ended. Some hikers report that encounters often occur in areas associated with accidents or unexplained disappearances, suggesting that the forest retains a memory of past events, replaying moments in a way that brushes against the living. Natural phenomena sometimes amplify the forest's haunting atmosphere. Fog rolling through valleys, mist rising from streams, and sudden changes in temperature can create moments of disorientation, making shadows and sounds appear more vivid and unnerving. Even in broad daylight, patches of dense forest and low visibility can turn ordinary movements into something mysterious, heightening the sense that the woods are alive with unseen presences. Many visitors describe this feeling as both exhilarating and frightening, a mix of awe at the beauty of the forest and respect for its hidden, haunting side. Despite its haunted reputation, the Ouachita National Forest remains a beloved destination. Its hiking trails, camping sites, and natural beauty draw thousands of visitors each year, offering opportunities for adventure, reflection, and connection with nature. For many, the possibility of encountering the unexplained adds a layer of intrigue and excitement to their visits. Guides and local authorities encourage respect for the forest, reminding visitors to tread carefully, remain aware of their surroundings, and honor the land's history and stories. These precautions help ensure that encounters, whether natural or supernatural, are approached with mindfulness and curiosity. Ouachita National Forest is more than a scenic wilderness. It is a place where the echoes of the past persist among the trees. Its dense woods, rugged trails, and hidden clearings preserve memories of lives once lived and the lingering presence of those who never left. Unseen touches, whispers in empty spaces, and fleeting apparitions serve as reminders that the forest is alive, not only with flora and fauna, but with history, memory, and energy that transcends ordinary perception. Every hiker, camper, or explorer who wanders its trails steps into a landscape rich with natural beauty and haunted mystery, where the past and present coexist in quiet, shadowed corridors. For those who enter its depths, the Ouachita National Forest offers a journey that is both breathtaking and unsettling. The roar of a distant waterfall, the rustle of unseen movement, and the fleeting sense of a presence alongside the trail combine to create an experience that lingers long after leaving the woods. Here, adventure meets the unknown, and the forest quietly reminds every visitor that some spirits never truly depart. Rich Mountain, rising majestically within the Ouachita Mountains, is a landscape of breathtaking vistas, rugged trails, and dense forests that stretch as far as the eye can see. Hikers, nature enthusiasts, and photographers flock to its slopes for the spectacular views of rolling hills, verdant valleys, and cascading streams. By day, the mountain exudes natural beauty, with sunlight filtering through the pine and oak canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. Yet, as the day wanes and evening descends, Rich Mountain transforms. The trails that were once inviting become shrouded in mystery. Unseen presence, suggesting that the mountain may harbor restless spirits from centuries past. The legends surrounding Rich Mountain date back to the earliest inhabitants of the region. Native American tribes traveled and hunted throughout the Ouachitas, leaving behind a rich history that is still evident in the landscape. Later, settlers established homesteads and small communities on and around the mountain, enduring harsh winters, treacherous terrain, and the constant threat of accidents in an unforgiving wilderness. Many perished due to falls, exposure, or illness, and locals have long whispered that their spirits never truly left. Over time, these tales became entwined with reports of ghostly phenomena, creating a reputation for Rich Mountain as a place where the past continues to echo among the trees and cliffs. Visitors to Rich Mountain frequently report hearing footsteps in isolated areas, often when no one else is nearby. These footsteps can be soft, deliberate, or hurried, sometimes approaching along a trail only to stop abruptly when investigated. Hikers describe the unsettling sensation that someone or something is following them, maintaining a presence just out of sight. These auditory experiences are often accompanied by sudden drops in temperature, a cold that seems to settle in the bones and cannot be explained by natural conditions alone. Shadows flit at the edge of vision, moving between trees or along the undergrowth, disappearing as soon as they are directly observed. Shadowy figures are another common phenomenon on Rich Mountain. Hikers and campers describe glimpses of human-like forms emerging from the forest, only to vanish into the tree line when approached. These figures are often described as pale or indistinct, appearing to drift rather than walk, giving them an ethereal quality. Some witnesses believe these apparitions are the lingering spirits of settlers or travelers who met untimely ends, forever wandering the forest in search of solace or resolution. Others suggest that the mountain itself retains residual energy, a memory of past events that manifests as these ghostly figures. Perhaps the most unnerving reports involve the sense of being physically pushed or guided toward dangerous locations. Several hikers have recounted moments when a sudden invisible force seemed to nudge them toward the edge of cliffs or steep drop-offs, accompanied by a feeling of intense urgency. In these instances, the presence is neither aggressive nor visible, yet it is undeniably forceful, prompting visitors to step back hastily or retreat from the area. Many interpret these experiences as warnings from the spirits who linger on the mountain, protecting their territory or attempting to communicate with the living in ways that transcend human understanding. Rich Mountain's trails are particularly conducive to these paranormal encounters. Narrow paths wind through dense forests, often leading to steep overlooks or hidden clearings where visibility is limited. Sounds travel unpredictably in this environment, with echoes amplifying even the slightest noise. Footsteps, branches snapping, or rocks shifting can easily be mistaken for the supernatural. Yet repeated accounts by experienced hikers suggest that some phenomena cannot be explained by natural occurrences. It is in these quiet, secluded areas that the mountain's eerie reputation is most pronounced, where the forest seems alive not only with wildlife but with unseen watchers. The cliffs and ridges of Rich Mountain have long been associated with danger and mystery. Several visitors have reported seeing figures standing at the edges of overlooks, their forms silhouetted against the fading light, disappearing when approached. In some cases, hikers have felt an invisible presence pressing behind them as they navigated narrow ledges, prompting a hasty retreat. Others have described sudden chills or the sensation of being observed from the surrounding forest, with no one in sight. These experiences contribute to a growing sense of the mountain as a place where history, memory, and the supernatural converge. Campers on Rich Mountain have also reported unsettling phenomena. Tents have been disturbed by unseen forces, voices heard in the darkness, and shadows moving between trees when no one else is present. Some describe the feeling of an unseen observer lingering just beyond the perimeter of the campsite, accompanied by occasional faint whispers or rustling. Even those who visit in groups often report independent experiences of unease or being watched, reinforcing the idea that these encounters are not merely products of imagination. Local legends continue to evolve, intertwining historical events with the unexplained. Stories of lost settlers, wandering soldiers, and travelers who disappeared on the mountain have persisted for generations. Modern-day visitors often retrace these paths, sometimes encountering experiences that echo the tragedies of the past. Whether it is the shadowy figure along a ridge, the mysterious footsteps in the forest, or the subtle nudge toward a cliff's edge, the mountain's haunted presence remains palpable to those who explore it. Despite its haunted reputation, Rich Mountain remains a cherished destination for hikers, photographers, and adventurers. Its breathtaking vistas, diverse flora and fauna, and challenging trails draw thousands of visitors each year. For some, the reports of ghostly activity enhance the experience, providing a thrill that complements the beauty and adventure of the hike. Guides and locals advise visitors to respect the land, remain aware of their surroundings, and be mindful of the history that permeates every path and ridge. Rich Mountain is more than a scenic peak. It is a landscape imbued with memory, history, and lingering presence. The trails, cliffs, and forests preserve echoes of lives once lived, tragedies that occurred, and spirits that may still wander among the trees. Shadowy figures, phantom footsteps, and unexplained sensations are reminders that this mountain is not just a natural wonder, but a place where the past and present meet in a subtle yet undeniable dance. For those who traverse its paths, Rich Mountain offers not only the beauty of the Ouachitas, but also the chilling awareness that some presences never leave. Crowley's Ridge, a remarkable geological formation stretching across eastern Arkansas, stands apart from the surrounding flatlands, rising as a series of mist-shrouded ridges and dense, secluded forests. Its rolling hills and unique soil composition create an environment unlike any other in the state, attracting hikers, campers, and explorers who seek both adventure and solitude. By day, the ridge is a tranquil haven, with sunlight filtering through towering trees and casting intricate shadows across the forest floor. Streams meander through its valleys, and the air is filled with the sense of pine and earth. Yet beneath this picturesque surface, Crowley's Ridge harbors a history and a presence that some visitors describe as haunting, an energy that awakens as twilight falls and the ridge slips into shadow. The ridge has a storied past that stretches back centuries, long before European settlers arrived. Native American tribes traversed the ridges and valleys, hunting, gathering, and leaving traces of their presence in the land. With the arrival of pioneers and later soldiers, the ridge became a corridor of movement and sometimes conflict, a place where lives were built and lost in the rugged, isolated terrain. Accidents, sudden illnesses, and misadventures were common, leaving behind a legacy of tragedy intertwined with the ridge's natural beauty. Locals have long whispered that the spirits of these early inhabitants linger, walking among the trees, haunting the trails, and observing those who wander too closely into their domain. Visitors often report experiences that defy ordinary explanation. Hikers on remote trails describe the sensation of being watched, even when the woods are empty. Shadows shift at the periphery of vision, fleeting and indistinct, as though someone or something is tracking their movements. Footsteps echo along the forest floor, approaching and receding without a visible source. Some hikers have reported sudden chills that seem to settle into the bones, even on warm days, accompanied by an almost tangible feeling of presence. These encounters, subtle or pronounced, contribute to the ridge's reputation as a place where the boundary between the living and the dead is unusually thin. Ghostly figures are a common theme in stories from Crowley's Ridge. Campers and hikers have recounted seeing human-like shapes moving between trees, often appearing distant or semi-transparent. Witnesses describe figures that resemble early pioneers, clad in long coats or period clothing, wandering along trails or standing silently on ridges overlooking the valleys below. Soldiers have also been reported, their spectral forms sometimes appearing in small groups, as if retracing steps from long-past skirmishes. These apparitions are rarely aggressive. They often vanish when approached, leaving only an eerie silence and a lingering sense of unease. Some speculate that these are residual energies, moments of history replaying endlessly across the ridge. Mysterious lights are another phenomenon associated with Crowley's Ridge. Hikers and campers have described small orbs floating above the forest floor or flickering between trees, moving in ways that defy explanation. These lights sometimes appear along ridges or near remote campsites, illuminating the fog in a ghostly glow. Some witnesses report that the lights seem to follow them, only to disappear when approached, Folklore suggests that these spectral illuminations may be tied to the spirits of pioneers or soldiers who perished along the ridge, their presence manifesting as faint, otherworldly guidance or as warnings to those who wander too far. The ridge's misty atmosphere only enhances the sense of mystery. Morning fog and evening mist frequently roll through the trees, creating pockets of near-total obscurity where shapes and sounds can easily be misinterpreted, or perhaps seen for what they truly are. Many visitors describe the fog as almost alive, carrying distant murmurs, whispers, or cries that seem human but have no identifiable source. These sounds often emerge along the most secluded trails, amplifying the isolation and making the forest seem alive with unseen watchers. The combination of fog, shadows, and uneven terrain creates an environment where ordinary perceptions are challenged, and the ridge's haunted reputation feels all the more real. Campers on Crowley's Ridge have reported unsettling nighttime phenomena. Tents have been disturbed by invisible forces, footsteps circle around campsites, and faint whispers are heard in the darkness. Some describe the sensation of being touched lightly or nudged, though no one is present. These experiences are often accompanied by sudden chills, inexplicable movements of objects, or the fleeting appearance of shadowy forms at the edge of the campsite. Even those visiting in groups frequently report independent experiences of unease, reinforcing the impression that the ridge is alive with energies that defy natural explanation. Certain locations on the ridge seem to hold particular significance. Remote overlooks, hidden hollows, and narrow ridgelines are often cited as hotspots for paranormal activity. Visitors have reported seeing figures silhouetted against the mist, standing silently on elevated points before vanishing. Some hikers recount hearing whispers calling out names, footsteps approaching from behind, or the feeling of unseen eyes tracking their movements. These reports have persisted for decades, passed down among locals and visitors alike, forming a tapestry of folklore that entwines with the ridge's natural allure. Despite the ridge's haunted reputation, it remains a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts. Its unique geology, diverse wildlife, and panoramic views draw countless visitors each year. For many, the possibility of encountering the unexplained adds an element of thrill to their adventures. Guides and locals often advise respect for both the land and its history, reminding visitors to remain aware of their surroundings and mindful of the stories that linger in the mist and shadows. The ridge's beauty, combined with its spectral presence, creates an experience that is as mesmerizing as it is unsettling. Crowley's Ridge is more than a geological formation. It is a living repository of history, memory, and lingering spirits. Its trails, ridges, and woods preserve the echoes of lives long past, tragedies endured, and presences that never fully departed. Shadowy figures, phantom footsteps, and mysterious lights are constant reminders that the ridge is not just a natural wonder, but a place where the past and present converge. Every fog-shrouded morning, every whispered sound in the trees, and every fleeting apparition carries a story, leaving an indelible impression on all who explore this haunted yet captivating landscape. Crater of Diamonds State Park, located in western Arkansas near Murfreesboro, is renowned as the only public diamond-bearing site in the world where visitors can search for gemstones and keep what they find. The park's rolling fields and designated dig sites attract thousands of tourists each year, drawn by the thrill of uncovering a rare treasure beneath the earth. By day, the landscape appears peaceful and inviting, with families and hobbyists sifting through gravel and soil under the sun, sharing stories of discovered diamonds. Yet beneath this serene surface, Crater of Diamonds harbors a shadowed history, one filled with tragedy, hardship, and lingering spirits that some visitors claim are still present, haunting the very grounds where fortune and misfortune have long been intertwined. The area's history stretches back centuries. Before European settlement, Native Americans lived in the region, leaving traces of their presence through tools, artifacts, and oral histories. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, prospectors and miners flocked to the site, hoping to strike it rich. Life was difficult and often dangerous. Many miners faced injuries from digging, accidents with equipment, and harsh conditions that claimed lives in solitude. Over time, legends grew that the spirits of these men and, sometimes women, ever left the land. Visitors who linger too long near isolated dig sites have reported strange phenomena, from sudden chills to fleeting shadows at the edge of vision, suggesting that the pursuit of fortune may have left an enduring imprint on the park. Perhaps the most common experiences involve ghostly apparitions. Several visitors describe seeing figures dressed in period clothing wandering near dig sites or along the park's trails. These apparitions often resemble miners or prospectors, complete with hats, boots, and tools, moving slowly as if continuing work that began long ago. Some witnesses report that these figures vanish when approached, leaving behind a feeling of coldness or an unsettling sense of being observed. Others have seen pale, indistinct forms moving in the distance, only to disappear into the tall grass or the wooded edges of the park. These experiences contribute to a sense that Crater of Diamonds is not only a place of earthly treasure, but also a site where the past persists in spectral form. Isolated areas of the park are particularly prone to supernatural reports. Visitors digging late in the day, long after most crowds have left, sometimes hear footsteps crunching over gravel, despite being alone. Some recount the faint sound of hammers striking rock, or whispered conversations in voices too soft to be understood. Others describe sudden chills or the sensation of a presence standing near them while they digged, compelling them to pause and glance nervously over their shoulder. In many cases, the experiences leave participants feeling watched, even after the source of the phenomena cannot be found. Mysterious lights have also been reported on the grounds. Several visitors describe small, flickering orbs appearing near old dig sites, floating along the edges of the fields, or weaving among trees at the park's perimeter. These lights often appear at dusk or during early evening, illuminating the surrounding area with a soft, otherworldly glow. Witnesses sometimes interpret these lights as the lingering energy of miners who perished seeking fortune, their spirits unable or unwilling to leave the site where they devoted their lives. The lights appear and disappear unpredictably, often coinciding with other paranormal experiences, such as sudden sounds or apparitions. Fog and mist add to the park's eerie ambience, particularly in the early morning or after rainfall. The low-lying clouds obscure visibility, casting the fields and wooded edges into shifting shadows. Visitors navigating the dig sites during these conditions have reported seeing figures materialize from the mist, only to vanish moments later. Others have felt the air grow inexplicably cold, accompanied by distant, untraceable noises that heighten the sense of unease. Even in broad daylight, certain areas of the park seem to carry an unusual atmosphere, as if the land itself remembers the struggles and tragedies of those who once worked there. Stories of miners and prospectors who disappeared or died at Crater of Diamonds continue to fuel the park's haunted reputation. Some claim that these spirits are restless, compelled to continue their work, wandering near the very dig sites where they sought fortune in life. Others suggest that the park retains a residual energy of ambition, hardship, and loss, manifesting as apparitions, mysterious lights, and sounds that cannot be explained by natural phenomena. Visitors often recount these experiences with a mixture of fascination and trepidation, finding themselves caught between the thrill of discovery and the unsettling presence of the past. Even park staff acknowledge that the land has a unique energy, cautioning visitors to respect both the history and the environment. Campers and late-day diggers are advised to remain aware of their surroundings, as the isolated nature of certain sites can make experiences of the unexplained more intense. Some of the most compelling accounts come from those who spent hours working alone, noticing fleeting movements at the edges of the field, shadows cast by unseen forms, or sounds that echo across the quiet landscape. In many cases, these experiences leave a lasting impression, coloring future visits with a mixture of awe and caution. Despite the eerie reports, Crater of Diamonds remains a popular destination for tourists, adventurers, and treasure hunters. Its reputation for supernatural activity adds an extra layer of intrigue to the experience, enhancing the sense of history and mystery that permeates the park. Visitors continue to dig, explore, and hike its trails, hoping to find both earthly treasure and perhaps, if only briefly, a glimpse of the spirits said to roam the grounds. Crater of Diamonds State Park is more than a recreational site. It is a place where history, ambition, and lingering spirits converge. Its fields, dig sites, and wooded edges preserve echoes of lives once lived and the restless presence of those who never left. Apparitions of miners, mysterious lights, and unexplained sounds serve as reminders that the park is haunted not only by the memory of wealth sought and hardships endured, but also by the indelible human spirit. Each visitor who steps onto the grounds carries with them the possibility of witnessing the extraordinary, fleeting glimpse into a world where the past refuses to remain buried. Petit Jean State Park, nestled atop Petit Jean Mountain in central Arkansas, is a landscape of dense forests, cascading waterfalls, and panoramic overlooks that draw visitors year-round. Its trails wind through rugged terrain, past natural springs, and along cliff edges that provide breathtaking views of the surrounding valleys. By day, the park is a haven for hikers, campers, and nature enthusiasts, offering tranquility and beauty at every turn. Yet, beneath its scenic charm lies a history steeped in legend and sorrow, giving the mountain a reputation for the unexplained. Tales of restless spirits, mysterious sounds, and fleeting apparitions have been passed down for generations, suggesting that Petit Jean Mountain holds secrets that reach beyond the natural world. The most enduring legend is that of Petit Jean herself, a young woman from France who, in the early 18th century, is said to have disguised herself as a man to follow the man she loved to the New World. She worked as a cabin maid for the expedition, keeping her true identity hidden. Tragically, she fell ill while traveling, and before she could reveal herself or reunite with her love, she died. Her body was laid to rest atop the mountain, and over time, stories emerged of her spirit wandering the trails, overlooking the valleys, and lingering near the cliffs that now bear her name. Visitors who spend time on the mountain sometimes report sudden chills, faint crying, and an overwhelming sense of sadness in areas associated with the legend, as if the mountain itself remembers her story. Hikers frequently recount experiences that defy explanation. Along the winding trails, many have felt the sensation of being watched, even in isolated stretches of forest. Shadows flicker at the edge of vision, and movement seems to appear and disappear among the trees. Some have described a sudden drop in temperature, a cold that settles in the bones and sends shivers down the spine, coinciding with a feeling of unease that cannot be traced to natural causes. These encounters often occur near overlooks and cliff edges, where the wind carries faint, inexplicable sounds across the valleys. The combination of visual and sensory phenomena has led many to believe that Petit Jean's spirit remains present, bound to the mountain where her life ended so tragically. Visitors have also reported hearing faint crying or whispers, particularly near the cliffs and overlooks that provide sweeping views of the surrounding landscape. These sounds are subtle, almost imperceptible, and often emerge in moments of quiet when the forest seems otherwise still. Some hikers describe the cries as sorrowful and feminine, while others hear murmured words in a language they cannot identify. In many cases, those who experience these sounds feel a compelling mixture of fear and empathy, as if they are glimpsing the lingering emotions of a long-past life. Attempting to locate the source usually proves futile, as the sounds vanish as mysteriously as they appear. Apparitions have also been reported on Petit Jean Mountain. Several visitors describe glimpsing a figure in period clothing, moving along the trails or standing at the edge of an overlook before disappearing into the trees. The figure is often indistinct, appearing pale or shimmering in the filtered light of the forest, yet the presence is unmistakable. Witnesses frequently report that the apparition seems to observe them silently, conveying a sense of sorrow or longing rather than threat. Some speculate that these sightings are the spirit of Petit Jean herself, eternally wandering the mountain she once called home, while others suggest that the mountain retains echoes of past lives, replaying moments of tragedy and devotion. Petit Jean State Park's waterfalls and creeks contribute to the mountain's haunting atmosphere. The sound of rushing water often masks or enhances mysterious noises, creating illusions of voices or footsteps that seem to emanate from nowhere. Campers and hikers have reported hearing faint, melodic singing near the falls, as well as the soft sound of someone walking on leaves or gravel where no one is present. These auditory phenomena are frequently accompanied by sudden changes in temperature, the sensation of being followed, or glimpses of shadows moving among the trees. Even the most experienced visitors often find themselves questioning what is natural and what may be supernatural. The park's dense forests and winding trails are particularly conducive to ghostly experiences. Narrow paths, shaded by towering trees, create pockets of darkness where light filters unevenly, casting shifting patterns on the forest floor. Fog and mist often roll across the ridges in the morning or evening, transforming familiar trails into mysterious corridors where shapes and sounds can be misinterpreted, where, perhaps glimpsed as they truly are. Hikers navigating these areas have reported seeing fleeting forms just beyond the trail, hearing whispers in the quiet, or feeling a presence guiding or observing them, often without any physical evidence of another person. Even local lore enhances the park's haunted reputation. Guides and longtime residents share stories of unexplained phenomena, recounting the legend of Petit Jean and the many visitors who have reported strange occurrences over the years. These stories often include warnings to tread carefully near cliff edges, to respect the forest, and to be mindful that the mountain has long been a place of both natural beauty and lingering mystery. The combination of history, legend, and repeated eyewitness accounts has cemented Petit Jean Mountain as one of Arkansas's most compellingly haunted natural sites. Despite the mountain's spectral reputation, Petit Jean State Park remains a popular destination. Its trails, waterfalls, and overlooks continue to draw thousands of visitors annually, many seeking both the beauty of the landscape and the thrill of encountering the unexplained. For some, the possibility of sensing Petit Jean's presence adds depth to the experience, transforming a hike or camping trip into a journey through history and legend. Respecting the land, observing quietly, and remaining aware of surroundings are frequently advised, allowing visitors to fully appreciate both the park's natural splendor and its eerie mysteries. Petit Jean State Park is more than a scenic retreat. It is a place where history, legend, and lingering spirits converge. The trails, cliffs, waterfalls, and overlooks preserve echoes of a tragic past and a restless presence that continues to captivate and unsettle. Faint cries, sudden chills, shadowy figures, and inexplicable sounds serve as reminders that the mountain holds secrets beyond what the eye can see. Every visitor who wanders its trails carries with them the possibility of witnessing the extraordinary, experiencing a subtle connection with the past, and perhaps glimpsing the enduring spirit of Petit Jean herself. The Buffalo National River, winding through the Ozark Mountains of northern Arkansas, is celebrated as one of America's most pristine waterways. Established as the nation's first national river, it stretches over 135 miles, flanked by towering bluffs, dense forests, and hidden caves. By day, the river sparkles under sunlight, its clear waters reflecting limestone cliffs and the vibrant greens of the surrounding foliage. Kayakers glide along calm stretches, anglers cast lines into quiet pools, and hikers explore rugged trails that weave along the riverbanks. Yet beneath this natural beauty lies a darker, more mysterious presence. Visitors have long reported experiences that suggest the Buffalo River is not just a haven for wildlife and recreation, but a landscape where the natural and supernatural converge. The river has a rich history, stretching back to the Native American tribes who first inhabited the region. They left behind traces of their presence in stone tools, burial mounds, and oral traditions, many of which speak of spirits tied to the river and its bluffs. European settlers later arrived, navigating the river's winding course and establishing farms, homesteads, and small communities. Life along the Buffalo River was often harsh, with accidents, drownings, and tragedies leaving a mark on the land. Some believe that the echoes of these events have persisted, manifesting as ghostly phenomena along the riverbanks and wooded slopes. Kayakers and campers are often the first to encounter the river's eerie side. Many report hearing unexplained noises while paddling or relaxing on the shore. Some describe whispers carried on the wind, laughter echoing through the trees, or the sound of footsteps crunching on gravel when no one else is nearby. Others have experienced sudden drops in temperature, feeling a chilling cold in the middle of summer that cannot be accounted for by natural causes. These phenomena often appear without warning, creating a sense of unease that lingers long after the initial experience. Shadowy figures are another common occurrence along the Buffalo River. Hikers and campers describe seeing indistinct forms moving through the dense forests, sometimes appearing along trails or perched on the limestone bluffs. These figures are often fleeting, visible only at the corner of the eye, and vanish when approached. Witnesses have described the shapes as human-like, but vague, with no discernible features. Some interpret these apparitions as the lingering spirits of settlers or travelers who perished along the river, forever wandering the banks and bluffs of a landscape they once called home. The river's numerous caves and hidden coves enhance its haunted reputation. Several visitors recount hearing strange noises emanating from these secluded spots, such as low moans, distant voices, or sudden banging sounds. Explorers have also reported glimpsing shapes disappearing into the darkness of the caves, leaving only shadows and the echo of movement behind. The combination of natural acoustics and these mysterious events creates an atmosphere thick with suspense, where every sound seems amplified, and every shadow carries the possibility of unseen presence. Fog and mist along the river often heighten the sense of the unexplained. In the early morning or after rainfall, a low-lying fog can settle across the water, obscuring visibility and softening the outlines of cliffs, trees, and distant hills. Kayakers navigating the river during these conditions have reported seeing figures emerge from the mist, only to vanish moments later. Sounds carry strangely in the fog, making distant voices or footsteps seem alarmingly close. The eerie beauty of these conditions often blends seamlessly with the river's supernatural reputation, leaving visitors with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Certain areas of the Buffalo River are especially noted for paranormal activity. Remote campsites, hidden bluffs, and narrow stretches of forest are common locations for reported ghostly encounters. Campers have recounted hearing footsteps circling their tents at night, whispers carried through the trees, and shadows moving just beyond the reach of lantern light. Kayakers often experience a sensation of being watched from the shore, accompanied by sudden chills and the fleeting impression of movement in a tree line. Even during daylight hours, these areas can evoke a sense of unease, as if the river and its surroundings are alive with unseen observers. Local lore adds depth to these stories. Tales of settlers lost in storms, travelers disappearing along the river, and unexplained accidents have circulated for generations. These stories often coincide with locations where multiple visitors have reported similar experiences, reinforcing the idea that the Buffalo River is haunted by echoes of the past. Some believe that the spirits are tied to the land itself, replaying moments from history in a loop that touches the living in fleeting glimpses of shadow, sound, or sensation. Despite its haunted reputation, the Buffalo National River remains a treasured destination. Its natural beauty, wildlife, and recreational opportunities attract thousands of visitors each year. For many, the possibility of encountering the unexplained adds excitement and intrigue to the experience. Kayakers, campers, and hikers often approach the river with a mixture of respect and curiosity, aware that the beauty of the landscape may conceal lingering presences from centuries past. Guides and park rangers frequently advise visitors to remain cautious near cliffs and caves, to respect the environment, and to be mindful of the history embedded in the river's banks. The Buffalo River is more than a scenic waterway. It is a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural converge. Its cliffs, bluffs, and dense forests preserve echoes of lives once lived and events that remain unresolved. Phantom voices, shadowy figures, and unexplained sensations serve as reminders that the river is imbued with memory and energy that transcend ordinary perception. Each visit offers not only the beauty of the Ozark landscape, but also the possibility of encountering something otherworldly, subtle presence that reminds visitors of the enduring connection between the living and the spirits who remain. For those who navigate its waters or explore its trails, the Buffalo National River provides an unforgettable experience. Its crystal-clear currents, towering cliffs, and dense forests are matched by the haunting knowledge that the past persists here. Whether it is the sound of footsteps along a deserted bank, a fleeting shadow among the trees, or a sudden chill on a summer day, the river whispers of stories untold and spirits unclaimed. The Buffalo River is at once a sanctuary and a place of haunting, where natural beauty and supernatural mystery flow together, leaving a lasting impression on all who venture into its depths. Blanchard Springs Caverns, located in the heart of northern Arkansas, are celebrated as one of the most spectacular underground wonders in the United States. Carved from limestone over millions of years, these caverns feature vast chambers, towering stalagmites and stalactites, and winding passageways that stretch deep beneath the forested landscape above. Visitors flock to the site each year, marveling at its geological formations, shimmering crystal-like deposits, and the sheer magnitude of its subterranean beauty. But for all its awe-inspiring grandeur, Blanchard Springs holds a darker, more mysterious side, one that has captivated spelunkers and adventurers for decades. Many who venture deep into the caverns report experiences that suggest the echoes of the past still linger, manifesting as ghostly whispers, fleeting figures, and strange lights that defy explanation. The history of Blanchard Springs Caverns is as rich as the formations themselves. Long before modern exploration, Native Americans were aware of the caverns and their unique properties. Using the surrounding land for hunting, gathering, and spiritual purposes, European settlers later explored the area, drawn by curiosity, commerce, and the sheer allure of the underground world. Early explorers often faced dangerous conditions. Narrow tunnels, sudden drops, flooding, and treacherous footing claimed more than a few lives. Stories circulated of individuals disappearing deep within the caves, never to be seen again. Over time, these tales became intertwined with the natural mystique of the caverns, giving rise to legends of spirits that continue to wander the tunnels to this day. Spelunkers are often the first to experience the cavern's unexplained phenomena. Deep within the chambers, many report hearing whispers that seem to come from unseen sources. Voices soft but distinct, echoing off the stone walls in ways that no ordinary sound should. Some describe the whispers as incomprehensible murmurs, while others hear distinct words or phrases, sometimes calling out names or urging them to move along. These auditory experiences are often accompanied by sudden changes in temperature, cold drafts that sweep through the caverns, chilling the skin despite heavy clothing or equipment. The combination of sound and sensation creates an atmosphere of suspense and unease, leaving explorers with the sense that the caverns are alive with hidden presence. Shadowy figures are another common occurrence, reported in Blanchard Springs Caverns. Visitors describe fleeting glimpses of shapes moving at the edges of their vision, often disappearing when they attempt to focus on them directly. These forms sometimes resemble human figures, occasionally dressed in period clothing reminiscent of early explorers, but they remain indistinct and ephemeral. Spelunkers have recounted seeing these shapes along narrow passageways, near drop-offs, or in wide chambers, only for the figures to vanish into the darkness. Such experiences often leave witnesses with a mixture of fear and wonder, a profound sense of being watched by unseen observers who are deeply tied to the history of the caverns. Strange lights add another layer of mystery to Blanchard Springs. Visitors have reported small, flickering glows deep within tunnels, floating along the walls or hovering in chambers without any apparent source. Some lights appear like faint orbs, drifting slowly through the cavern, while others take the form of sudden flashes, illuminating formations for brief, surreal moments. Witnesses often describe the lights as warm or ethereal, casting long shadows and creating the impression that the caverns are filled with unseen energies. Many speculate that these lights are manifestations of spirits of early explorers, still wandering the tunnels they once traversed, unable to leave the labyrinthian underground world. The labyrinthian nature of the caverns enhances their haunting qualities. Narrow passageways, high chambers, and winding tunnels can create disorientation, making ordinary sounds and shadows seem more mysterious. Footsteps echo unpredictably. Distant dripping of water can be mistaken for movement, and the interplay of light and shadow can produce fleeting illusions of figures. Even experienced guides report moments when they feel a presence nearby, or notice lights and movements that cannot be easily explained. The cave's natural acoustics amplify every sound, giving even the smallest noise a haunting resonance that lingers long after it occurs. Many stories focus on the spirits of early explorers who may have perished while mapping or investigating the caverns. Some spelunkers describe feeling a guiding presence, as if invisible hands are leading them through tricky sections, while others report a sense of urgency or warning, as if the spirits are trying to communicate caution. There are also accounts of climbers hearing footsteps behind them, following their movements through tunnels where no one else is present. In these cases, the experiences are often fleeting but profoundly memorable, leaving a lingering impression of a hidden world populated by entities caught between the past and present. Blanchard Springs caverns also inspire caution in the human imagination. Guides and park staff acknowledge the cavern's rich history and unique energy, advising visitors to respect the space, follow safety protocols, and remain aware of this. For many, part of the allure is the interplay between natural beauty and the unknown. While the geological formations are breathtaking in their own right, the possibility of encountering the unexplained adds a layer of excitement and suspense, making each visit both a visual and emotional adventure. Despite its haunted reputation, the caverns continue to attract thousands of visitors annually. Their immense chambers, sparkling formations, and complex network of tunnels offer a one-of-a-kind experience, combining adventure, exploration, and a touch of the supernatural. Many who venture into the depths leave with stories of whispers, shadowy figures, or strange lights, adding their accounts to the growing tapestry of legends surrounding the caves. Blanchard Springs caverns are more than just a geological marvel. They are a place where the echoes of the past persist. The whispers, shadows, and lights serve as reminders that the caverns are alive with memory and energy. A hidden world where history and the supernatural intersect. Every explorer who descends into the tunnels steps into a space that is both awe-inspiring and mysterious, where the beauty of nature and the presence of lingering spirits combine to create an unforgettable, haunting experience. White Rock Mountain, rising prominently in the Ouachita National Forest of western Arkansas, is a remote and rugged landscape marked by steep cliffs, rocky outcrops, and dense forests. Its trails lead hikers through quiet woods and open ridgelines, offering breathtaking views of the surrounding valleys and distant mountains. By day, the mountain is a haven for nature lovers, photographers, and those seeking solitude. Yet beneath its scenic beauty lies a history woven with mystery and lingering sorrow, giving rise to accounts of supernatural encounters that have intrigued visitors for generations. The remote nature of White Rock Mountain, coupled with its rich past, creates a setting where the natural and the unexplained coexist, and where hikers often find themselves encountering phenomena that defy simple explanation. The area surrounding White Rock Mountain has long been inhabited and traversed by Native American tribes, who left behind artifacts, ceremonial sites, and oral traditions. These indigenous peoples spoke of spirits tied to the land guardians of the forests, ridges, and waters whose presence could be felt by those who ventured too close. Later, European settlers arrived, establishing homesteads and small communities while navigating the challenging terrain. Life was harsh, and accidents, disputes, and natural tragedies were common. Over time, stories emerged of individuals who vanished without a trace or met untimely ends along the cliffs and ridges. Many locals believe that these events left residual energies on the mountain, manifesting as ghostly encounters and inexplicable sensations. Hikers are frequently the first to report the mountain's eerie activity. Many recount hearing disembodied footsteps echoing along the trails or on the rocky outcrops, even when the paths are empty. These sounds often appear close enough to provoke a sense of alarm, yet vanish when investigated. Some visitors describe a sensation of being followed or watched, an unsettling feeling that persists even after leaving the area. These encounters are often accompanied by sudden drops in temperature, as if an invisible presence has passed nearby, sending shivers through those exploring the ridges and forests. Whispers are another common phenomenon on White Rock Mountain. Hikers and campers have reported faint voices carried on the wind, seeming to emanate from dense woods, hidden crevices, or the cliffs themselves. The whispers are often too soft to discern, yet unmistakably human, as if conversations from another time are replaying across the ridges. Some visitors describe the voices as pleading, calling out names, or issuing warnings, while others hear fragments of words in languages unfamiliar to them. These auditory experiences often coincide with the feeling of being observed, reinforcing the impression that the mountain is alive with the echoes of those who once walked its slopes. Shadowy figures have also been sighted along the trails and rocky ledges. Hikers frequently report glimpses of dark forms flitting through the trees or standing at the edge of cliffs, only to vanish when approached. These figures are often described as human-like, yet indistinct, lacking defining features, and appearing to merge with the shadows cast by the rocks and forest. Witnesses sometimes experience a mix of fear and curiosity, noting that the figures convey neither overt threat nor friendliness, but a lingering presence that seems tied to the mountain's long history. Some speculate that these apparitions are the spirits of Native Americans or early settlers, their souls unable or unwilling to leave the land where they lived and died. White Rock Mountain's environment itself amplifies these experiences. Its rocky cliffs and outcrops create natural echoes, while mist and fog rolling across the ridges distort sight and sound, making ordinary movements appear mysterious and ordinary sounds seem supernatural. Streams, creeks, and waterfalls can carry noises over long distances, and a dense forest canopy often produces pockets of darkness even during daylight hours. These conditions can make hikers feel disoriented, enhancing the sense of otherworldly activity and heightening awareness of subtle sensation shifts in air temperature, fleeting shadows, or distant, unidentifiable sounds. Several spots on the mountain are especially associated with paranormal encounters. Cliff edges overlooking valleys, isolated ridgelines, and dense forest clearings have all been cited as locations where disembodied footsteps, whispers, and apparitions are most frequently reported. Campers at remote sites sometimes recount objects moving slightly on their own, subtle tapping or scraping sounds, and the feeling of an unseen presence standing near their tents. Even those in groups report personal, individual experiences, suggesting that the encounters are deeply connected to perception, environment, and possibly the lingering energy of the mountain itself. Local legends contribute to the mountain's haunting reputation. Stories of lost explorers, settlers who perished while navigating the cliffs, and the spirits of Native Americans who once called the area home have circulated for generations. Many of these tales involve encounters with glowing orbs, small lights that drift silently along trails or hover over the ridges, visible for only brief moments before vanishing. Witnesses often interpret these orbs as manifestations of spirits attempting to communicate, guide, or simply make their presence known. These experiences, combined with auditory and visual phenomena, create an atmosphere of suspense and awe, drawing both believers in the supernatural and casual hikers intrigued by the unknown. Despite its reputation, White Rock Mountain remains a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts. Its scenic overlooks, rugged trails, and abundant wildlife attract visitors seeking adventure, relaxation, and a connection to nature. For many, the possibility of encountering something unexplained adds a layer of fascination and thrill to their visit. Guides and locals advise respect for the land, caution along cliff edges, and awareness of acknowledging that the mountain's natural beauty is intertwined with its mysterious, haunting qualities. White Rock Mountain is more than a scenic wilderness. It is a place where history, memory, and lingering spirits converge. Its cliffs, ridges, and forested trails preserve echoes of lives long past, and the experiences of visitors, disembodied footsteps, whispers, shadowy figures, and glowing light suggests that the mountain retains an energy that transcends the ordinary. Every hiker, camper, or explorer who wanders its terrain steps into a landscape alive with both natural majesty and the enduring presence of those who came before, leaving an indelible mark on the memory of the mountain. Lake Hamilton, nestled in the Ouachita Mountains of central Arkansas, is a serene and picturesque body of water known for its calm surface, scenic surroundings, and recreational opportunities. By day, the lake is a haven for boating, fishing, and picnicking, with sunlight dancing across its gentle ripples and the surrounding forests reflected in its waters. Yet beneath the tranquil beauty of Lake Hamilton lies a darker side, one whispered about in local lore and reported by those who have visited the lake after dusk. Tales of ghostly figures, mysterious sounds, and restless spirits lend an eerie dimension to this otherwise peaceful landscape. The lake, created in the early 20th century as a reservoir, has a history intertwined with the communities that developed along its shores. While much of its past is documented, oral traditions and local legends speak of accidents, drownings, and unexplained disappearances. These tragic events are said to have left lingering impressions on the lake, with some visitors claiming that the spirits of those who perished still inhabit the shoreline and waters. Locals tell stories of individuals who vanish while swimming, boating, or wandering the lake at night, their presence seemingly imprinted on the area, giving rise to a supernatural reputation that persists to this day. Nighttime is when the lake's mysterious qualities become most pronounced. Visitors who venture along its shores after dark often report seeing figures walking along the water's edge, sometimes appearing solid for a moment before fading into mist or darkness. These apparitions are typically human in form but elusive, and those who witness them describe a sense of melancholy or longing, as if the figures are trapped between worlds. Some claim the spirits appear near areas associated with past drownings or accidents, while others report seeing them in otherwise peaceful, secluded stretches of the shoreline. The fleeting presence of these figures leaves many with a sense of unease and a heightened awareness of the surrounding environment. Auditory phenomena are another common feature of Lake Hamilton's haunted reputation. Campers, fishermen, and boaters have described hearing strange sounds emanating from the water-soft cries, splashing without apparent cause. These noises are often most noticeable on calm nights, when the water is still and the forest is quiet. Witnesses describe moments when the gentle lapping of the lake suddenly gives way to sharp, disembodied sounds, as if someone is moving or calling from beneath the surface. Many interpret these sounds as the echoes of past tragedies, the lingering voices of those who drowned or vanished, unable to rest fully. The combination of visual and auditory phenomena contributes to a pervasive feeling of being observed. Visitors have reported that even in the absence of figures or sounds, the lake seems alive with unseen eyes, watching from the shadows of the forest or the darkness of the water. Some fishermen recount lines tugging inexplicably, feeling unseen hands brush against them, or noticing ripples in otherwise calm waters. These subtle experiences, when paired with the stories of apparitions and cries, create a sense that Lake Hamilton is imbued with memory and presence, a place where past and present intertwine in quiet, unsettling ways. Certain areas of the lake are particularly associated with paranormal activity. Remote coves, docked boats, and sections of the shoreline bordered by thick trees are frequently mentioned in accounts of ghostly encounters. Visitors often describe a feeling of unease when passing these spots, as if the land itself remembers the events that occurred there. Campers and boaters report seeing lights hovering over the water, shadows moving just beyond the tree line, or figures emerging from fog that rolls across the lake on cool evenings. These experiences, often fleeting and difficult to document, leave a lasting impression, blending the lake's natural beauty with a haunting atmosphere. Local legends provide context for these accounts. Stories speak of young men and women who drowned, fishermen who disappeared in sudden storms, and travelers who vanished while walking along the shore at night. Many of these tales suggest that the spirits remain bound to the lake, replaying moments from their lives or attempting to make their presence known to the living. The combination of historical tragedy and eerie encounters has made Lake Hamilton a subject of fascination for ghost hunters. Local historians and visitors drawn to the mysterious guides often warn that while the lake is stunning by day, its nocturnal mysteries demand caution, respect, and a willingness to acknowledge the unknown. Despite its haunted reputation, Lake Hamilton remains a popular destination for recreation and tourism. Its calm waters, scenic surroundings, and abundance of wildlife attract visitors seeking relaxation and adventure. For those who are aware of the lake's spectral tales, nighttime visits provide an added layer of intrigue, a chance to witness or sense the unexplained. Many visitors recount leaving the lake with stories of glimpses, sounds, or sensations that cannot be easily explained, adding to the growing collection of first-hand experiences that perpetuate the legend of Lake Hamilton. Lake Hamilton's haunted allure is inseparable from its natural beauty. Its mirrored waters, tree-lined shores, and quiet coves offer a setting of calm and reflection, while the reported apparitions, whispers, and mysterious movements remind visitors that the past is never fully gone. The lake seems to preserve memories of lives lost, accidents endured, and tragedies experienced, creating a subtle but persistent sense that it is alive with unseen presence. Every boat ride, nighttime walk, or quiet fishing excursion carries the potential for encounters that are as thrilling as they are unsettling. For those who visit Lake Hamilton, the experience is often a blend of awe and apprehension. The serene beauty of the lake contrasts with the haunting sensations reported by witnesses, figures walking along the shore, strange sounds emanating from the water, and fleeting glimmers of light that defy explanation. These encounters serve as a reminder that the lake, like many natural places, holds layers of history and energy, visible not just in the landscape itself, but in the impressions left behind by those who came before. Lake Hamilton is more than a recreational paradise. It is a place where beauty and mystery coexist, where the living and the departed meet, and where the calm waters hide stories that continue to ripple through time. Mount Nebo, rising majestically in western Arkansas, is a destination known for its breathtaking vistas, dense forests, and winding hiking trails. Its rocky cliffs and overlooks provide panoramic views of the Arkansas River Valley below, drawing visitors who come to experience the beauty of the Ouachita Mountains. By day, Mount Nebo is alive with birdsong, the rustle of leaves in the wind, and the laughter of hikers and campers exploring its trails. Yet beneath this natural splendor lies a layer of mystery and legend. For decades, visitors have reported strange and unexplained phenomena, ghostly apparitions, sudden fogs, and shadowy figures that suggest Mount Nebo is more than just a scenic escape. Its reputation as a haunted location has grown alongside its popularity, attracting those intrigued by the supernatural as well as those seeking the quiet majesty of the mountains. The history of Mount Nebo is rich and complex. Native American tribes first inhabited the area, leaving traces of their presence in tools, ceremonial sites, and oral traditions. They believed that the mountaintop was a place of spiritual significance, a site where the living and the spirits of the ancestors could interact. Later, European settlers arrived, establishing small communities, farms, and trails through the rugged terrain. Life on Mount Nebo was often harsh, with accidents, storms, and misadventures claiming lives along the cliffs and trails. Over time, tales emerged of individuals disappearing into the woods or perishing near precipices, lending the mountain a lingering aura of unease. Many believe that these tragedies have left echoes in the landscape, experienced by those who walk its trails today. Hikers and campers are often the first to encounter the mountain's eerie side. Many report seeing ghostly figures along the trails or near the overlooks, sometimes described as translucent forms or shadowy silhouettes. These apparitions often appear briefly, vanishing when approached or observed directly, leaving a sense of both wonder and unease. Some visitors describe figures dressed in period clothing, reminiscent of early settlers or travelers who once roamed the area, while others see forms indistinct and featureless, merely hints of presence moving in the trees or across the ridges. The fleeting nature of these sightings only adds to the mystery, creating an atmosphere where the line between the natural and the supernatural feels thin. Sudden fogs are another phenomenon frequently reported on Mount Nebo. Many hikers have described encountering patches of dense fog that appear without warning, often moving with an almost purposeful quality. Trails that were clear moments earlier become obscured, with visibility dropping to mere feet. The fog can create disorienting effects, transforming familiar paths into strange, shadowed corridors. Visitors often sense movement within the fog shapes passing silently, indistinct figures just out of reach. Some even report feeling guided or nudged along the trails by invisible forces, as if the fog itself carries the presence of the mountain's spirits. Unexplained shadows are also commonly reported by those exploring Mount Nebo. Hikers describe noticing figures flitting at the edge of vision or dark shapes crossing paths on trails where no one else is present. These shadows often move with purpose, disappearing when directly observed, and sometimes seem to mimic the movements of the living. Campers recount the experience of shadows lingering around tents or near campsites at night, accompanied by a faint sense of being watched. Even in daylight, these occurrences can be unsettling, creating an eerie contrast with the mountain's otherwise serene and beautiful environment. The mountain's topography contributes to its haunted reputation. Its cliffs, narrow trails, and dense forest canyons create natural acoustics that amplify ordinary sounds. Rustling leaves, snapping twigs, or distant animal calls into something seemingly otherworldly. Sounds can echo unpredictably, making them appear closer than they are, while fog and low light create illusions of movement and form. Many visitors report that even minor sounds or visual cues evoke a profound sense of presence, as if the mountain itself is aware of their passage. Certain spots on Mount Nebo are especially associated with paranormal activity. Cliffside overlooks, secluded forest paths, and areas near historical structures, such as old cabins or foundations, have all been linked to ghostly encounters. Hikers and campers report hearing whispers that seem to come from nowhere, footsteps on trails that no one else is using, and glimpses of figures standing silently on ridges or just beyond the trees. These experiences, often fleeting and difficult to verify, leave a lasting impression and reinforce the idea that Mount Nebo is a place where the past and present intermingle. Local legends enrich the mountain's aura of mystery. Stories speak of settlers who disappeared while exploring the trails, travelers who perished on the cliffs, and spirits of Native Americans still tied to sacred areas. Some tales describe apparitions guiding lost hikers back to safety, while others recount warnings or chilling encounters meant to provoke caution. Many residents and guides believe that these stories are intertwined with the landscape itself, suggesting that the spirits are not malicious but remain connected to the mountain and its history. Despite its haunted reputation, Mount Nebo remains a popular destination. Its trails, overlooks, and camping sites draw thousands of visitors each year, offering a combination of natural beauty, adventure, and a touch of the supernatural. For those intrigued by the unexplained, the possibility of ghostly encounters adds a layer of thrill to the hiking experience. Guides encourage respect for the mountain, advising visitors to remain aware of their surroundings and to honor both the natural and historical significance of the area. Mount Nebo is more than a scenic mountaintop. It is a place where history, memory, and lingering spirits converge. Ghostly apparitions, moving fogs, and unexplained shadows serve as reminders that the mountain retains echoes of lives long past. Every hiker or camper who traverses its trails steps into a landscape alive with both beauty and mystery, where the natural and the supernatural coexist, leaving a lasting impression that lingers long after leaving the ridges and forests behind. Crooked Creek, a winding and secluded waterway nestled deep within the forests of northern Arkansas, is a place of both natural beauty and haunting mystery. Its clear, gently flowing waters reflect the canopy of trees above, while the dense forest on either side creates an atmosphere of quiet seclusion. The creek's twisting bends, overhanging branches, and rocky banks make it a favorite destination for hikers, anglers, and nature enthusiasts seeking solitude and the soothing sounds of running water. Yet beneath its tranquil exterior, Crooked Creek has long been associated with strange and unsettling phenomena. Visitors report experiences that defy explanation: ghostly figures emerging from the water, unexplained laughter and crying echoing through the trees, and the persistent feeling of an unseen presence following them along the creek's banks. The history of Crooked Creek is steeped in both human activity and legend. Native American tribes once inhabited the surrounding forest, using the creek as a source of water, food, and spiritual connection. Oral traditions speak of spirits tied to the land and water, guardians of the natural world, who could be seen or heard by those attuned to their presence. With the arrival of European settlers, the area became the site of small homesteads, logging operations, and occasional accidents. Stories circulated of children and adults who vanished near the creek, of drownings and unexplained deaths, and of travelers who never returned from excursions into the dense forest. Over time, these tragedies combined with the natural isolation of Crooked Creek to form a foundation for the supernatural tales that continue to circulate today. Hikers and campers are often the first to encounter the creek's eerie qualities. Many recount moments when the forest grows unnaturally quiet, the sounds of birds and wildlife fading until only the babbling of the creek remains. In these moments, visitors report seeing figures in or near the water, sometimes pale human forms, standing or moving beneath the surface. Other times, indistinct shapes appearing along the banks. These figures often vanish when approached, leaving only ripples across the water or the impression of a presence that was never truly there. The sudden and unexplained nature of these sightings contributes to a lingering sense of unease, even among those familiar with the creek. Auditory phenomena are a common feature of Crooked Creek's mysterious reputation. Visitors frequently describe hearing laughter or crying emanating from the water or from the shadows of the surrounding forest. These sounds are often faint, carried on the wind, and difficult to locate, as if the forest itself is playing with perception. Some hear a single, mournful cry, while others report hearing the giggles of children echoing through the mist-shrouded trees. These auditory experiences are often accompanied by the sensation of being watched or followed, a feeling that grows stronger when the source of the sound cannot be identified. Even those traveling in groups often report personal experiences of these noises, suggesting that the phenomena are intensely subjective and tied to the unique energy of the creek itself. Mist and fog are integral to Crooked Creek's haunted atmosphere. The creek's winding course and shaded banks often cause fog to linger, drifting across the water and weaving between trees. In these conditions, ordinary shapes and movements can appear strange and otherworldly, while shadows stretch and shift in ways that defy explanation. Hikers report that the mist sometimes seems to move with intention, guiding them along the creek or concealing figures that vanish when approached. The combination of fog, water, and forest creates a sensory environment that heightens awareness, making fleeting movements, unusual sounds, and subtle changes in temperature all the more intense. The sense of being followed is another commonly reported experience. Visitors frequently describe the feeling of an unseen presence tracking their movements along the banks, a subtle pressure or awareness that persists even when the forest appears empty. Footsteps may echo behind them, only to stop suddenly when they turn. and shadows may flit across the periphery of vision. Campers recount moments when their belongings shift slightly. Tents rustle, or ripples appear in the water with no discernible cause. These experiences often evoke a mixture of fear and fascination, reinforcing the impression that Crooked Creek is alive not only with natural life, but with lingering energies of the past. Certain spots along the creek are particularly associated with ghostly encounters. Isolated bends, rocky outcrops, and areas where the forest closes in on the water are frequently cited by visitors as locations of sightings or strange sounds. Locals have long shared stories of figures appearing at these points, of cries or laughter echoing through the mist, and of sensations of being guided or warned. These tales often focus on themes of loss, tragedy, and the unseen presence of spirits connected to the creek's history. Some believe that those who perished near the creek remain tethered to its waters. Despite its haunted reputation, Crooked Creek continues to attract visitors seeking natural beauty, adventure, and the thrill of the unknown. Its clear waters, shaded forest, and quiet seclusion offer an escape from modern life, while the potential for supernatural encounters adds an element of intrigue. Guides and local authorities advise respect for the land, caution when traversing slippery banks or isolated trails, and awareness of the creek's rich history. Many hikers report that even brief visits leave a lasting impression, a blend of awe at the creek's beauty and unease at the presence that seems to linger just beyond sight. Crooked Creek is more than a scenic waterway. It is a place where nature, history, and the unexplained intersect. Its mist-shrouded bends, shadowed banks, and flowing waters preserve echoes of lives lost and moments long past. The ghostly figures, disembodied laughter and cries, and persistent sense of being followed serve as reminders that the creek holds more than just natural beauty, carries the memory of those who came before, lingering in the forest and waters. For every hiker, camper, or explorer who ventures along its course, Crooked Creek offers a journey into both the breathtaking and the haunting, a place where the visible and invisible worlds intertwine. The Arkansas River Valley stretches across central and western Arkansas, a picturesque expanse of rolling hills, fertile farmland, and meandering waterways. By day, the valley is a haven of natural beauty, where the river winds gently past forests and fields, reflecting sunlight on its rippling surface. It has long served as a cradle of settlement and transportation, providing resources and passage for Native American tribes, early European settlers, and later generations who farmed its rich soil. Yet beneath its pastoral charm lies a deeper, more unsettling history. Visitors and locals alike have reported strange phenomena: phantom soldiers marching across fields, shadowy settlers vanishing near abandoned homes, and inexplicable sounds drifting across the riverbanks. The Arkansas River Valley, while stunning in appearance, carries with it the lingering echoes of the past. The valley's history is woven with both triumph and tragedy. Native American tribes first called the region home, navigating its forests and riverways, while leaving behind artifacts, ceremonial sites, and oral traditions. The arrival of European settlers brought conflict, displacement, and the establishment of homesteads along the fertile lands. The area later became a strategic corridor during the Civil War, and skirmishes and encampments dotted the valley. Stories of battles, sudden deaths, and lost travelers spread among the communities, creating a legacy of hardship and sorrow that some say still lingers in the landscape. The abandoned structures that now dot the valley, crumbling farmhouses, decaying barns, and old trading posts, serve as silent witnesses to lives once lived, and perhaps to spirits who have never left. Those who visit the valley often report encounters that defy explanation. One of the most commonly reported phenomena involves phantom soldiers, seen marching across open fields or appearing suddenly near wooded areas. Witnesses describe these figures as uniformed in period attire, their movements deliberate and coordinated, as if replaying moments from battles long past. The figures often vanish when approached or when the observer attempts to get a closer look, leaving only the impression of footsteps or a lingering presence in their wake. These sightings are most frequently reported during early mornings or twilight, when the interplay of mist and shadow creates an atmosphere that feels suspended between the present and the past. In addition to phantom soldiers, many locals speak of shadowy settlers wandering near abandoned structures along the river. These figures are often glimpsed from a distance, moving silently across fields or standing near old homes and barns. Witnesses report a range of emotions during these encounters, from sudden chills and unease to curiosity and awe. Some claim that the spirits appear to be replaying fragments of daily life, fetching water, tending animals, or standing vigil near their homesteads. The fleeting nature of these appearances only adds to their mystique, suggesting that the valley is a place where memory and history manifests visually and emotionally. Auditory phenomena are also frequently reported in the Arkansas River Valley. Hikers, anglers, and farmers recount hearing the clatter of hooves, the distant rumble of cannon fire, or murmured voices carried on the wind. Some hear footsteps crunching in fields where no one is present, or the creaking of old gates opening and closing without human hands. These sounds are often described as faint at first, then growing more distinct as observers pause to listen. Even in areas that are otherwise quiet and deserted, the valley seems to carry a resonance of the past, with each echo reminding visitors that the landscape has been shaped by generations of human experience. The geography of the valley amplifies these experiences. Open fields allow shadows and light to play tricks on the eye, while rolling hills and river bends create natural acoustics that carry and distort sound. Mist and fog are frequent, especially in low-lying areas near the river, adding a layer of visual ambiguity that can make ordinary movements appear supernatural. Many witnesses describe a sensation of being watched or followed as they traverse the fields and forested edges, a feeling that persists even when the valley is otherwise empty. This combination of sight, sound, and atmosphere creates an environment where the past seems tangible and where the line between reality and memory becomes blurred. Several locations within the valley are particularly associated with paranormal activity. Abandoned homesteads, old barns, and the remnants of trading posts or river docks are often cited as sites where ghostly figures are most frequently observed. Visitors report seeing soldiers crossing open fields near historical battle sites, settlers standing silently near crumbling foundations, and fleeting figures disappearing into the trees along the riverbanks. The presence of these apparitions is often accompanied by sudden changes in temperature, faint odors reminiscent of smoke or earth, or the sensation of unseen hands brushing past. These experiences contribute to the valley's reputation as a place where history lingers and manifests in subtle, often unsettling ways. Local legends enrich the valley's haunting atmosphere. Stories of soldiers who never returned from battle, settlers who perished from accidents or illness, and families who vanished during storms have been passed down through generations. Many of these tales suggest that the spirits of the past are not malevolent, but remain bound to the valley, replaying familiar routines, protecting their homes, or marking the sites of tragedy. Hikers and explorers often share these stories, combining them with their own experiences of fleeting shadows and mysterious sounds, further solidifying the Arkansas River Valley as a place of both natural beauty and spectral intrigue. Despite its haunted reputation, the Arkansas River Valley continues to attract visitors for its scenic vistas, recreational opportunities, and historical significance. Its rolling fields, forested hills, and meandering waterways offer tranquility and adventure, while the potential for ghostly encounters adds a layer of fascination. Many who explore the valley leave with stories of sightings, sounds, or sensations that cannot be explained, adding their accounts to the ongoing tapestry of legends surrounding the region. The Arkansas River Valley is more than just a picturesque landscape. It is a repository of history, memory, and lingering spirits. Phantom soldiers, shadowy settlers, and disembodied sounds serve as reminders that the past has not fully receded from this land. Every visitor who walks its fields, explores its forests, or wanders its riverbanks, steps into a space where natural beauty and the supernatural converge, creating an experience that is both awe-inspiring and haunting. The valley's serene vistas are thus intertwined with its spectral history, leaving an indelible impression on those who venture within. Lake Catherine State Park, located in the rolling hills of central Arkansas, is renowned for its serene waters, lush forests, and scenic hiking trails. By day, the park offers visitors tranquil opportunities for boating, fishing, and exploring its wooded paths, with sunlight glinting across the lake's surface and birdsong filling the air. Its quiet beauty has long drawn families, nature enthusiasts, and those seeking a peaceful retreat. Yet beneath this calm exterior lies a series of ghostly tales that have intrigued locals and visitors alike. Reports of phantom voices carried across the water, shadowy apparitions along the hiking trails, and sudden chills descending without explanation have given Lake Catherine an eerie reputation. Blending the natural splendor of the park with whispers of the supernatural, the history of Lake Catherine State Park stretches back centuries. Native American tribes once inhabited the region, leaving behind tools, artifacts, and oral traditions that speak of the spiritual significance of the lake and surrounding forests. Later, European settlers arrived, building cabins, farms, and small communities along the shores. Over time, accidents, drownings, and untimely deaths contributed to local folklore, with tales of restless spirits lingering near the water or wandering the forest trails. Some stories speak of individuals who disappeared while hiking or fishing, while others recount tragic events that left deep impressions on the land itself. These historical threads have become intertwined with the park's natural beauty, creating a backdrop for the spectral experiences reported today. Visitors often report experiencing the park's supernatural side during quiet hours, particularly in the early morning or after dusk. Phantom voices are among the most common phenomena described. Campers and hikers have recounted hearing distant conversations, whispers, or cries that seem to come from the water itself. The sounds often carry across the lake on otherwise still nights, echoing over the calm surface with no identifiable source. Some describe voices calling their names, or the indistinct murmur of long-forgotten conversations, as if the lake preserves memories of those who once lived along its banks. These auditory encounters are often fleeting, leaving witnesses both unsettled and fascinated. Along the hiking trails, apparitions have been reported with increasing frequency. Shadowy figures appear suddenly between the trees, sometimes moving with deliberate steps, only to vanish when approached. Some hikers describe seeing forms that resemble settlers or Native Americans, dressed in attire from another time, their presence fleeting but unmistakable. Others have witnessed ghostly figures near the cabins or stone ruins scattered through the park, standing silently or wandering in a manner that suggests unfinished business. The combination of dense forest, winding trails, and shifting light creates conditions where ordinary shadows may take on an otherworldly quality, enhancing the sensation that the park is alive with unseen watchers. Sudden chills and drops in temperature are another hallmark of Lake Catherine's haunted reputation. Many visitors recount feeling an inexplicable coldness wash over them while hiking or sitting near the water, often in areas that are otherwise sheltered from the wind. These chills are typically accompanied by a sense of unease or the feeling of being observed, even when no one else is present. Some campers report experiencing this sensation near specific points along the trails or by the lakeshore, suggesting that certain locations hold residual energy from past events. The unpredictable nature of these phenomena adds to the park's reputation as a place where the natural and supernatural intersect. The lake itself seems to be at the heart of many ghostly stories. Those who spend time boating or fishing have occasionally glimpsed figures moving beneath the surface or along the shoreline, only to see them vanish upon closer inspection. Ripples appear on otherwise calm water without discernible cause, and reflections sometimes seem to shift independently, suggesting a presence that cannot be explained. Some visitors believe that these sightings are the spirits of individuals who perished in the lake or along its banks, forever tied to its waters. The combination of visual, auditory, and sensory experiences creates a multi-layered encounter for those exploring Lake Catherine after hours. Local legends provide further context for these eerie accounts. Stories speak of a young woman who drowned while trying to save a child. Her spirit said to linger near the water's edge, appearing in misty forms or causing sudden chills. Other tales recount settlers lost during storms, or hikers who never returned from the forested trails. Many believe that the apparitions serve as reminders of lives disrupted by tragedy, preserving a connection between the present and the past. The recurring theme of water, trees, and mist throughout these stories emphasizes the park's natural elements as conduits for the supernatural. Despite its haunted reputation, Lake Catherine State Park continues to attract visitors seeking beauty, adventure, and solitude. The quiet waters, shaded trails, and abundant wildlife provide a peaceful retreat, while the potential for ghostly encounters adds a layer of intrigue for those drawn to the unknown. Many hikers and campers leave the park with stories of fleeting figures, mysterious voices, or chilling sensations that cannot be explained, adding to the growing collection of first-hand experiences that reinforce the park's spectral reputation. Guides and locals often advise respect for both the natural environment and the history embedded in the land, warning that the lake and surrounding forests are places where the past lingers in subtle, sometimes unsettling ways. Lake Catherine State Park is more than a scenic escape. It is a place where history, memory, and the unexplained converge. Its serene waters, winding trails, and shaded forests provide a setting of breathtaking beauty, while phantom voices, apparitions, and sudden chills remind visitors that the land carries echoes of those who came before. Each walk along the trails or quiet moment by the lake offers the potential for an encounter that is as thrilling as it is mysterious. The park's natural serenity, paired with its haunted lore, ensures that every visit leaves a lasting impression. A blend of awe, reflection, and a subtle awareness that the unseen world may be closer than it seems. Mount Magazine, the highest peak in Arkansas, is a destination renowned for its breathtaking views, sprawling forests, and crisp mountain air. At its summit lies the Mount Magazine Lodge, a rustic retreat designed to offer visitors comfort amid the natural splendor of the Ouachita Mountains. By day, guests enjoy sweeping vistas of valleys, dense woods, and distant peaks, while the lodge provides warm meals, cozy accommodations, and a base for hiking and exploration. Yet, even in this idyllic setting, a persistent sense of the unexplained has captured the attention of visitors. Reports of flickering lights, ghostly figures on balconies, and unexplained sounds in empty hallways suggest that the lodge area harbors more than the ordinary. It seems to be a place where the natural beauty of Mount Magazine intersects with lingering spirits from the past. The history of Mount Magazine and its surrounding lodge area is rich and layered. Native American tribes once traveled through the region, leaving traces of their presence in ceremonial sites, trails, and oral histories. Early settlers later built cabins and homesteads along the mountain, enduring harsh conditions and frequent isolation. These lives, filled with both triumph and tragedy, left a mark on the land. As the lodge was constructed in the 20th century to welcome tourists, the history embedded in the mountains, soil, rocks, and forests seemed to seep into the very structures built atop it. Over time, guests began reporting experiences that could not be explained by ordinary means, creating a local lore that intertwines the lodge's comfort with an eerie, otherworldly presence. Many encounters at the lodge revolve around the phenomenon of flickering lights. Guests often describe lights turning on and off in hallways, lobbies, or rooms where no electrical faults can be found. Some report seeing entire corridors briefly illuminated by a soft glow before darkness returns, or witnessing lights flicker in synchronization with strange sounds. The effect is most pronounced at night, when shadows deepen and the quiet of the mountain amplifies every creak and whisper. Visitors frequently report that these flickers occur in areas where no one else is present, and attempts to capture the phenomenon with cameras or smartphones often fail, leaving only anecdotal evidence. The repeated occurrence of such lights has led many to suspect the presence of spirits, attempting to make themselves known through subtle manipulation of the physical world. Ghostly figures on balconies and in hallways are another common sighting reported by guests. These apparitions often appear briefly, standing as faint silhouettes before vanishing when approached. Some guests describe figures dressed in period clothing, reminiscent of early settlers or travelers who once traversed the mountain, while others report more shadowy, indistinct forms. Sightings are often accompanied by an uncanny sense of being watched, as if the figures are aware of the living but separated by an invisible barrier. In several accounts, these ghostly presences are seen peering over balcony railings, silently observing the lodge's guests as they enjoy the mountain vistas, only to disappear when attention is directed toward them. Auditory phenomena are equally prevalent in the Mount Magazine Lodge area. Guests frequently report hearing footsteps in hallways when no one else is present, doors creaking open or closed without explanation, and muffled voices drifting through empty rooms. Some recount the sound of laughter or whispers just beyond their ability to locate the source, often creating an unsettling sensation that someone or something is nearby. These sounds are typically reported at night, when the lodge is quiet, amplifying their impact. Even in rooms where guests are accompanied by friends or family, these noises often seem personal, heard only by one individual at a time, adding a deeply mysterious element to the lodge's atmosphere. The lodge's location, atop the highest peak in Arkansas, contributes to its otherworldly qualities. The elevation creates frequent fogs and sudden weather changes, which can obscure visibility and transform familiar spaces into unfamiliar, shadowed landscapes. The natural acoustics of the lodge's construction, wooden beams, stone walls, and open hallways carry sound in unusual ways, making ordinary noises seem amplified or distorted. Combined with the historic energy embedded in the land, these environmental factors create conditions ripe for encounters that feel both tangible and supernatural. Several areas of the lodge are frequently cited as hotspots for ghostly activity. Hallways connecting guest rooms, especially those at the ends of the building, are commonly associated with unexplained footsteps and flickering lights. Balconies with views of the surrounding forested slopes have been the site of multiple reported sightings of figures standing silently before vanishing. Even the lobby and dining areas have occasionally been described as sites where guests feel a sudden chill or sense of presence, despite the absence of other people. These recurring locations suggest that the lodge, as a structure and as a part of the mountain itself, may act as a focal point for residual energy from past lives and events. Local legends and lore add further texture to the lodge's haunting reputation. Stories speak of early settlers who met untimely deaths on the mountain, travelers who vanished in the forests, and mysterious figures glimpsed by those hiking nearby. Guests have shared experiences in which the spirits appear protective, curious, or simply lingering, as though the mountain and its lodge are a threshold between the living and the departed. Many who have stayed overnight report a mixture of awe, fear, and fascination, with memories of flickering lights, whispered voices, and ghostly figures remaining long after their visit. Despite its haunted reputation, Mount Magazine Lodge continues to welcome visitors seeking both adventure and relaxation. Its scenic beauty, hiking trails, and panoramic views remain a major draw, while the potential for ghostly encounters adds a layer of intrigue. For many, the lodge represents a unique blend of comfort, history, and mystery, where the natural world and the supernatural coexist in subtle, unforgettable ways. Mount Magazine Lodge is not only a retreat amidst one of Arkansas's most beautiful peaks, but also a place where history, memory, and lingering spirits converge. Flickering lights, apparitions on balconies, and unexplained sounds serve as reminders that the mountain carries the echoes of those who came before. Guests leave with more than memories of scenic vistas. They carry the impression that Mount Magazine's Lodge is alive with stories that transcend time, creating an experience both haunting and unforgettable. The White Cliffs, nestled near the Ozark Highlands, are a natural wonder of rugged beauty and towering rock formations. The cliffs rise abruptly from the forest floor, their pale stone faces catching the sunlight and creating breathtaking panoramas across the valleys below. By day, hikers and nature enthusiasts are drawn to the area for its scenic trails, climbing opportunities, and the serene sounds of wind through the trees and birdsong echoing off the rocks. Yet amid this picturesque setting, the White Cliffs have developed a reputation for something far more mysterious. Visitors frequently report shadowy sightings, unexplained noises, and a persistent sensation of being watched, creating an atmosphere where natural beauty and the uncanny intertwine. The history of the White Cliffs area stretches back centuries. Native American tribes once traversed the highlands, hunting, gathering, and leaving traces of their presence in stone tools, ceremonial sites, and oral traditions. Later, settlers carved homesteads and trails into the surrounding forests, some enduring harsh winters and isolation that led to hardship and tragedy. Over the years, stories emerged of disappearances, accidental falls, and unexplained deaths near the cliffs, adding to the lore surrounding the area. Local legends speak of spirits bound to the land, guardians of the cliffs, or lingering souls who have never left the rocky heights. These narratives, combined with the cliffs' dramatic terrain, have made the area a focal point for encounters with the unexplained. Hikers are often the first to experience the cliffs' eerie qualities. Many recount moments when they feel a sudden and inexplicable chill, as if the wind itself carries an unseen presence. The sensation of being watched is common, with visitors describing fleeting movements in the corner of their vision or shadows that seem to shift unnaturally along the rock faces. Some hikers have reported glimpsing figures perched atop ledges or emerging from the forest, only to vanish when approached. These figures are rarely fully formed, often appearing as dark silhouettes or mist-like shapes, giving the impression of lives paused between worlds. Auditory phenomena are also frequently reported in the White Cliffs area. Visitors have described hearing footsteps echoing across empty trails, distant voices carried on the wind, and the occasional murmur of laughter or whispering that cannot be traced to any source. Sometimes these sounds are rhythmic and deliberate, like someone pacing a ledge, while other times they are fleeting, disappearing as suddenly as they appear. Even hikers traveling in groups often report that only one person hears the noises, adding a deeply personal and unsettling dimension to the encounters. The combination of these sounds with the cliff's echoing acoustics creates an experience that feels both real and otherworldly. The rock formations themselves contribute to the area's mysterious reputation. Towering ledges, hidden crevices, and shadowed overhangs create natural hiding places where light and shadow interact in unusual ways. Mist and fog often roll in from the surrounding forests, clinging to the cliffs and transforming familiar paths into unfamiliar, eerie landscapes. Hikers report that the fog seems to move with intention, obscuring their view or concealing figures that vanish when looked at directly. The combination of mist, rock, and forest heightens the senses, making ordinary sounds and movements appear uncanny and intensifying the sense that the cliffs are inhabited by more than just the living. Some locations within the White Cliffs area are particularly associated with ghostly activity. Isolated ledges, narrow cliffside trails, and small alcoves hidden among the rock formations are frequently cited as hotspots for sightings. Visitors have reported shadowy figures standing silently on these ledges, staring down from above, or disappearing into crevices in ways that defy explanation. The sensation of being followed or watched is strongest in these areas, with hikers noting that the feeling persists even when the forest is empty and no wind stirs the trees. These recurring encounters have cemented the cliff's reputation as a place where the past and present intersect in strange and haunting ways. Local legends enrich the White Cliffs' mysterious aura. Stories speak of Native Americans who once guarded the highlands, settlers who vanished while exploring the cliffs, and travelers who disappeared along the rugged trails. Some tales describe shadowy figures that appear at twilight, guiding or warning hikers, while others recount spirits that replay moments from lives long past. Visitors often combine these stories with personal experiences of fleeting shadows, unexplained sounds, and the eerie sensation of being observed, creating a shared folklore that continues to grow with each generation. Despite the chilling tales, the White Cliffs remain a popular destination for adventurers and nature enthusiasts. Their dramatic vistas, challenging trails, and panoramic views offer an unparalleled outdoor experience. Many visitors are drawn by the possibility of encountering the unknown, finding a thrill in the combination of natural beauty and spectral mystery. Guides and local experts advise respect for both the environment and the history embedded in the cliffs, warning that the area is not only physically rugged, but also emotionally charged with the weight of past lives and lingering energy. The White Cliffs area is more than a scenic marvel. It is a place where history, memory, and the unexplained converge. Shadowy figures, unexplained noises, and the persistent sensation of being watched suggest that the cliffs preserve echoes of those who came before. Every hiker or explorer who traverses its trails steps into a landscape where natural beauty and lingering spirits coexist, creating an experience that is at once breathtaking and haunting. The White Cliffs remind visitors that the highlands of Arkansas are not only a refuge of nature, but also a place where the past whispers through rock, mist, and forest, leaving an indelible mark on all who enter. The Devil's Eyebrow Trail, winding through the rugged terrain of the Ozark Highlands, is a destination that offers both natural beauty and a lingering sense of unease. Its steep inclines, rocky outcrops, and dense forests attract hikers and backpackers seeking adventure, panoramic views, and the serenity of being immersed in nature. By day, sunlight filters through the canopy, illuminating moss-covered boulders and streams that snake alongside the trail. Birds chirp overhead, and the wind carries the scent of pine and damp earth. Yet beneath this serene exterior, the trail has a reputation for strange occurrences. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps behind them when no one else is present, spotting shadowy forms flitting between the trees, and feeling sudden cold gusts of wind even on calm, still days. The Devil's Eyebrow Trail is a place where beauty and the unexplained coexist, leaving those who walk its path with stories that defy explanation. The history of the trail and its surrounding area is as rich as it is mysterious. Native American tribes once traveled these hills and valleys, hunting, gathering, and leaving traces of their presence in stone tools and ceremonial sites. Early settlers later carved paths through the dense forests, navigating the steep ridges and relying on the natural resources of the land to survive. The area's isolation meant that misfortune, illness, and accidents were common, and over time, stories of disappearances and unexplained deaths became part of local folklore. Many believe that the restless energy of those who lived and perished here remains, subtly influencing the environment and giving rise to the eerie encounters reported by modern-day hikers. One of the most common experiences reported along the Devil's Eyebrow Trail is the sensation of being followed. Hikers frequently describe hearing footsteps echoing behind them on stretches of trail that are otherwise empty. The sound is often distinct and deliberate, matching the rhythm of a human stride. Yet, when they turn to look, no one is there. Some report the footsteps stopping abruptly when they stop walking, as if the presence is aware of their movements. The experience can be unnerving, and many hikers admit to quickening their pace or calling out to see if anyone responds, only to be met with silence. This phenomenon has been reported in multiple locations along the trail, suggesting that it is not merely a trick of the imagination, but part of the trail's enduring mystique. Shadowy forms are another frequently reported occurrence. Visitors describe glimpsing figures moving between the trees, always just at the edge of their vision. These shapes are often dark and indistinct, lacking clear features, yet they move with purpose. Some hikers report seeing a figure pause, almost as if observing them, before disappearing into the forest. Others recount the sensation of a presence stepping into their path, only to vanish when approached. The dense foliage and shifting light create natural conditions for optical illusions. Yet the consistency of these reports across multiple witnesses has contributed to the trail's reputation as a site of genuine supernatural activity. On days when the forest is otherwise still and the air warm, hikers often feel sudden chills that seem to sweep along the trail with no identifiable source. These gusts are frequently reported in areas with little exposure to open air, such as narrow passages between rock formations or dense groves of trees. The cold is often accompanied by a feeling of unease or heightened awareness, as though the wind itself carries the presence of unseen observers. For many, these sudden temperature shifts create an experience that is both physically and emotionally disorienting, reinforcing the sense that the trail is inhabited by something beyond the ordinary. Several sections of the trail are particularly associated with these strange encounters. Steep ridges, rock ledges, and shaded forested areas are common hotspots where hikers report footsteps, shadows, and cold gusts. Narrow pathways with limited visibility seem to amplify the sensation of being watched, and the echoing acoustics of the cliffs and rock formations can make ordinary sounds appear otherworldly. Campers who spend the night along the trail have reported hearing soft whispers, distant laughter, or rustling that cannot be explained by wildlife, adding to the overall sense of the trail as a place where the natural and the supernatural intersect. Local legends provide additional context for the trail's haunted reputation. Stories speak of travelers and settlers who vanished along the ridges, as well as Native Americans who once considered the area sacred. Some legends suggest that spirits linger to protect the land, while others imply a restless energy tied to past tragedies. These narratives are passed down through communities, often blending historical fact with anecdotal encounters, creating a rich tapestry of folklore that continues to grow with each new visitor's experience. Despite its eerie reputation, the Devil's Eyebrow Trail remains a popular destination for hikers, backpackers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Its rugged beauty, panoramic views, and immersive wilderness offer an unparalleled outdoor experience. Many visitors are drawn as much by the possibility of encountering the unknown as by the promise of adventure, seeking both the thrill of the trail and the mystery that has become a hallmark of the area. Experienced guides often advise respect for the terrain and caution along cliff edges, noting that the trail has history and natural features contribute to both its beauty and its unnerving reputation. The Devil's Eyebrow Trail is more than a scenic hike. It is a landscape where history, nature, and lingering spirits converge. Footsteps behind hikers, shadowy figures between trees, and sudden cold gusts of wind suggest that the trail preserves echoes of lives long past. Each journey along its paths offers the possibility of an encounter with the unexplained, reminding visitors that even in the heart of natural beauty, the unseen world may be closer than it seems. The trail leaves hikers with memories that are part awe-inspiring, part unsettling, and entirely unforgettable. A testament to the enduring mystique of the Ozark Highlands, Blanchard Springs Trail, winding through the rugged forests of northern Arkansas, is a destination that combines natural beauty with an air of mystery. While the Blanchard Springs Caverns draw many visitors for their breathtaking underground formations, the surrounding trails offer an experience both serene and unsettling. Towering trees line the paths, their leaves whispering in the wind, while moss-covered rocks and shaded clearings create a sense of seclusion. Hikers and nature enthusiasts come to enjoy the crisp air, scenic views, and the quiet of the forest. But many leave with stories of phenomena that defy explanation. Sudden chills, distant whispers, and ghostly figures appearing among the trees suggest that the trails surrounding Blanchard Springs Caverns are a place where the natural and supernatural intersect. The history of the area adds context to these experiences. Native American tribes once roamed these forests, hunting game, gathering plants, and leaving behind artifacts that hint at a deep spiritual connection to the land. Later, settlers arrived, building homesteads and trails and enduring the isolation and hardships of life in the rugged Ozark region. Accidents, illnesses, and untimely deaths contributed to the local lore, and over time, stories emerged of spirits lingering along the trails, watching over or haunting the paths where lives had been lost. These layers of history, combined with the dense forest and shadowed clearings, create conditions that have given rise to a long-standing reputation for the area as a place of lingering energy and spectral presence. One of the most commonly reported phenomena along the Blanchard Springs Trail is the sudden sensation of cold. Hikers have recounted moments when a warm, calm day suddenly gives way to a frigid gust of wind that sweeps along the path with no visible source. These chills are often accompanied by a feeling of unease, as if someone or something is nearby, observing. Some visitors report that the sensation is strongest in narrow clearings or among dense groves of trees, areas where the forest seems to close in around the trail. The sudden drops in temperature are unpredictable and often leave hikers pausing, glancing over their shoulders, and questioning the ordinary explanation of natural air currents. Auditory experiences are another hallmark of the Blanchard Springs Trail. Many hikers have reported hearing whispers, faint murmurs, or voices carried on the wind, with no one visible nearby. Occasionally, the sounds take the form of footsteps, echoing behind walkers along the quiet paths. Some describe hearing laughter or the soft rustle of clothing, reminiscent of someone moving just out of sight. Even when accompanied by friends, these noises are sometimes perceived by only one person, heightening the sense of isolation and making the experience deeply personal. For those who have encountered these sounds, the trail feels alive in a way that is both mesmerizing and unsettling. Visual sightings add yet another layer to the trail's mysterious reputation. Shadowy figures are reported to appear among the trees, standing silently before vanishing when approached. These forms are often indistinct, lacking clear features, and seem to glide rather than walk, giving the impression of spirits lingering just beyond the reach of the living. Some hikers have recounted seeing figures dressed in period clothing, reminiscent of settlers or travelers from long ago. Others describe shapes that appear almost translucent, blending with the forest around them. These fleeting glimpses create a sense of being watched, as if the trails themselves preserve the presence of those who once walked them. Several areas along the trail are particularly associated with paranormal activity. Shaded clearings, rock outcroppings, and narrow paths lined by towering trees are often cited as hotspots where chills, whispers, and apparitions occur. Visitors report that the forest seems to change around these locations, with shadows deepening and light filtering differently through the canopy. Fog or mist occasionally rolls in, obscuring visibility and enhancing the feeling that the forest is alive with unseen observers. These recurring phenomena have cemented the trail's reputation as a place where natural beauty and lingering spirits coexist in subtle and haunting ways. Local lore further enriches the experience of hiking the Blanchard Springs Trail. Stories tell of Native Americans who considered the area sacred, settlers who disappeared while exploring the forests, and travelers who perished in accidents along the rocky paths. Some legends speak of protective spirits guiding hikers or warning them of danger, while others describe restless souls replaying moments from lives cut short. Hikers often share personal experiences that mirror these tales, blending first-hand encounters with the rich tapestry of local myth and history, reinforcing the trail's eerie reputation. Despite the trail's haunting reputation, Blanchard Springs Trail remains a popular destination for those seeking both adventure and tranquility. The lush forests, winding paths, and scenic overlooks offer a connection to nature that is unmatched in the region. Many visitors are drawn not only to the beauty of the landscape, but also to the potential for encounters with the unknown. Guides and locals advise caution along the steeper sections and respect for the forest, noting that the trail's history and natural features contribute to both its charm and its chilling stories. Blanchard Springs Trail is more than a hiking path. It is a place where history, memory, and the unexplained converge. Sudden chills, whispered voices, and shadowy figures remind visitors that the forest preserves echoes of the past. Each journey along the trail offers a chance to experience both the beauty of the Ozark wilderness and the lingering presence of those who came before. For hikers, backpackers, and nature enthusiasts, the trail leaves an indelible impression, a blend of awe, wonder, and the subtle thrill of encountering the unknown. The forested paths of Blanchard Springs remain a testament to the enduring mystique of Arkansas's landscapes, where the natural and supernatural coexist in quiet, unforgettable ways. Lake Ouachita, renowned for its sparkling waters and scenic surroundings, is one of Arkansas's most popular destinations for boating, fishing, and hiking. Its sprawling expanse of lakes and inlets stretches across the Ouachita Mountains, offering visitors a serene escape into nature. At the heart of this man-made reservoir lies the Lake Ouachita Dam, a monumental structure that holds back the lake's waters and provides power, flood control, and recreation. By day, the dam is a hub of activity, with visitors walking its length, watching boats glide across the lake, and admiring the engineering feat that tames the waters. Yet by night, the area around the dam takes on a different character. Locals and visitors alike have reported ghostly occurrences that suggest the site carries more than just the weight of water behind its walls. Figures walking along the dam, unexplained lights hovering over the lake, and eerie sounds are said to be tied to the spirits of workers, settlers, or victims of past accidents, making the area a focus of supernatural fascination. The history of Lake Ouachita and the dam area dates back to the mid-20th century, when construction began to create the reservoir. The project was enormous, employing hundreds of workers over several years. While most of the work proceeded safely, accidents were not uncommon in the challenging environment of heavy machinery, rushing waters, and steep embankments. Some workers lost their lives during construction, and stories of drownings and unexplained fatalities have persisted in local lore. Even before the dam was built, the land it now covers was home to communities, forests, and wildlife, and earlier settlers are also said to have met untimely deaths along the lake's shores. Over time, the combination of historical tragedy and the sheer presence of the dam's massive structure seems to have created an environment where reports of lingering spirits and strange phenomena have flourished. The most frequently reported occurrences around the dam involve ghostly figures seen walking along its length at night. Visitors and locals alike describe seeing human shapes moving purposefully, sometimes in work clothes reminiscent of the dam's construction era, and other times as vague, shadowy forms that vanish when approached. These figures are often spotted during the quiet hours after sunset, when the stillness of the lake amplifies every sound and shadow. Some witnesses claim that the figures seem to be performing tasks, walking back and forth as if inspecting the structure or tending to unseen machinery. When approached, they disappear without a trace, leaving those who observe them questioning whether they were seeing remnants of the past or experiencing a trick of the light and imagination. Another phenomenon that has captured attention is the presence of unexplained lights floating over the water. On calm nights, observers report seeing soft, glowing orbs hovering above the lake or moving along its surface. Some describe the lights as blue or white, flickering as though they are trying to communicate, while others appear to drift silently, without pattern. These luminous forms are often attributed to the spirits of workers who died during construction or individuals who drowned in the lake's early years. Witnesses have shared stories of following the lights, only to see them vanish into the mist, leaving a lingering sense of awe and unease. Auditory experiences are also common near the dam. Some visitors have reported hearing the echo of footsteps across the concrete surface, when no one else is present. The distant clanging of machinery, or low murmurs that seem to float across the water. Others recount hearing voices calling out, sometimes urgent, sometimes mournful, accompanied by the sensation that someone unseen is nearby. Even on nights when the wind is calm and the surrounding forest is silent, these sounds appear, adding to the eerie atmosphere that many describe as both unsettling and mesmerizing. The combination of visual and auditory phenomena creates an environment where the ordinary and the supernatural intersect. The dam itself, with its towering structure, long walkways, and strategic lighting, casts dramatic shadows across the water, amplifying the effect of any movement or flickering light. Fog and mist frequently roll in from the lake, obscuring vision and lending an ethereal quality to the surroundings. These natural conditions, combined with the weight of history, create a setting where visitors are more attuned to subtle movements, sounds, and sensations, heightening the impact of the unexplained. Several locations around the dam are particularly associated with ghostly activity. The upper walkways, where the concrete meets the edge of the lake, are common spots for sightings of figures and the flickering lights above the water. Shoreline paths leading to the base of the dam have also been reported as areas where whispers and footsteps occur, often experienced by lone visitors or those staying late after sunset. Some hikers and anglers recount feeling a presence behind them while walking along the embankment, only to turn and find empty space, the mist and shadows of the trees creating an unsettling sense of watchfulness. Local lore and stories add depth to these experiences. Tales speak of construction workers who never left the dam after accidents, and of settlers or fishermen who vanished along the lake, their spirits lingering to protect or haunt the waters. Some stories suggest that the lights over the lake serve as warnings, while others imply that they are manifestations of unfinished business, replaying moments of tragedy for those who venture close. Visitors often combine these stories with their personal experiences, reinforcing the haunting reputation of the dam area and creating a shared mythology that continues to grow with each generation. Despite the eerie tales, the Lake Ouachita Dam remains a popular destination. Its engineering marvel, scenic beauty, and recreational opportunities attract thousands of visitors each year. Hikers, anglers, and nighttime wanderers are drawn by both the stunning views and the potential for encounters with the unexplained. For many, the combination of history, natural beauty, and ghostly phenomena makes the dam area a uniquely compelling experience, where the past lingers quietly amid the present. The Lake Ouachita Dam area is more than a functional structure or recreational spot. It is a place where the echoes of the past, both tragic and mysterious, seem to persist. Figures walking the dam at night, unexplained lights above the water, and whispers in the dark all point to a landscape alive with memory and lingering presence. Visitors leave with more than memories of scenic vistas. They carry impressions of a place where history and the supernatural intersect, making Lake Ouachita a site of enduring fascination and quiet, unforgettable mystery. Mount Magazine, the highest peak in Arkansas, is renowned for its breathtaking vistas, dense forests, and rugged backcountry trails. Beyond the popular overlooks and well-trodden paths, the backcountry offers solitude and a sense of untamed wilderness. Yet this isolation comes with a reputation that draws both adventurous hikers and those curious about the unexplained. Visitors to the backcountry trails have reported strange and unsettling phenomena. Shadowy forms glimpsed between the trees, unexplained noises echoing through the forest, and an ever-present sensation of being watched or followed along the isolated paths. These experiences suggest that Mount Magazine's backcountry is a place where natural beauty and lingering mystery coexist. The history of Mount Magazine and its surrounding backcountry stretches back centuries. Native American tribes once traversed the ridges, hunting and gathering, while maintaining a spiritual connection to the land. Artifacts and ceremonial sites discovered in the region suggest that the mountain held significance beyond its physical presence. Later, settlers and pioneers carved paths through the dense forests, enduring isolation, harsh weather, and treacherous terrain. Over time, tales emerged of those who vanished on the trails, perished in accidents, or became lost in the wilderness. Many believe that these events left traces of restless energy, a subtle but persistent presence that continues to make itself known to those who venture deep into the backcountry. One of the most frequently reported phenomena along the backcountry trails is the appearance of shadowy figures. Hikers often describe glimpsing dark, human-like forms moving silently between the trees or perched atop rocky outcrops. These shapes are rarely detailed. They appear as vague silhouettes that vanish when approached, or when one tries to focus directly on them. Some witnesses report that the figures seem to be observing, standing motionless for minutes at a time before disappearing. The recurring nature of these sightings suggests that they are more than mere optical illusions, especially when multiple hikers independently report similar experiences in the same areas. Unexplained noises are another hallmark of Mount Magazine's backcountry. Visitors frequently hear footsteps following them along empty trails, whispers carried on the wind, or the distant sound of something moving through the underbrush. These sounds often occur in areas with no apparent source, and sometimes only one member of a hiking party hears them, creating a deeply personal and unsettling experience. Some hikers report the sound of doors creaking, wood cracking, or voices calling their names. Even though they are far from any buildings or other people, the dense forest and the echoing acoustics of the ridges amplify ordinary sounds. But the consistency and variety of the reports suggest something beyond simple natural explanation. A particularly unnerving experience for many visitors is the persistent sensation of being followed or watched. Along narrow trails and isolated clearings, hikers have reported feeling an unseen presence close behind them, even when the path is empty. Turning to look often reveals nothing, yet the feeling remains. This sensation is sometimes accompanied by sudden chills, a prickling of the skin, or a heightened sense of awareness, as if some entity is tracking their movements. For some, the presence is felt intermittently, vanishing and reappearing along different sections of the trail, reinforcing the idea that the backcountry is alive with unseen observers. Several locations within the backcountry are particularly associated with these experiences. Remote ridges, dense groves, and rock formations with natural alcoves are often cited as hotspots for shadowy sightings and strange sounds. Fog and mist frequently settle in the valleys and on higher trails, creating an ethereal atmosphere that transforms familiar paths into places of uncertainty. Hikers report that the fog seems to move in unusual ways, concealing shapes or altering perceptions of distance and depth, further heightening the sense of mystery and unease. Local legends enrich the experience of exploring Mount Magazine's backcountry. Stories tell of spirits of Native Americans who once roamed the ridges, settlers who perished along the trails, and travelers who never returned. Some accounts describe figures appearing at twilight, as if retracing their last steps, while others speak of presences that guide hikers away from danger or warn them of hazards ahead. These stories, passed down through generations, often mirror the experiences of contemporary hikers, creating a shared folklore that intertwines the history of the mountain with the modern sense of the unexplained. Despite the eerie reputation of the backcountry trails, Mount Magazine continues to draw visitors seeking adventure, natural beauty, and perhaps a brush with the unknown. Its combination of rugged terrain, panoramic views, and dense forest offers an unparalleled hiking experience. Many are drawn by the possibility of encountering something beyond the ordinary, whether a fleeting shadow, a mysterious sound, or the subtle feeling of being observed. Experienced hikers are advised to respect both the natural environment and the potential hazards of isolation. The backcountry trails of Mount Magazine are more than a path through the wilderness. They are a landscape where history, nature, and lingering presences converge. Shadowy figures, unexplained noises, and the sensation of being followed suggest that the mountain preserves echoes of those who came before. Each step along the trail offers the opportunity to experience both the majesty of the Ozarks and the subtle thrill of the unexplained. Hikers leave the mountain with more than memories of scenic vistas. They carry impressions of a place alive with history, mystery, and the faint whisper of spirits that continue to inhabit the ridges and valleys. Mount Magazine's backcountry is a testament to the enduring allure of the wild and the unseen, where beauty and the unknown walk hand in hand. The Arkansas Ozarks are a region of rugged hills, dense forests, and winding rivers. But beneath their scenic beauty lies a network of caves that have long fascinated and unnerved explorers. These subterranean chambers, formed over millennia by flowing water, carving limestone and dolomite, are more than geological marvels. For generations, Locals and spelunkers have reported strange and unexplained occurrences within their depths. Shadowy figures glimpsed in the flickering light of headlamps. Whispers that seem to echo from nowhere, and sudden drops in temperature have all contributed to the reputation of the Ozark Caves as places where the natural and supernatural intersect. These underground passages are not only dark and mysterious in a literal sense, but also in the sense that they seem to harbor lingering energy from the past. The history of the Ozark Caves is as complex as their winding tunnels. Native American tribes once used many of these caves for shelter, storage, and ceremonial purposes. Artifacts, petroglyphs, and burial sites attest to their significance. Later, European settlers explored the caves for resources, seeking minerals, bat guano, and hidden water sources. Stories began to circulate of those who became lost, fell, or mysteriously disappeared within the labyrinthine passages. The combination of human activity, natural dangers, and the isolation of the caves laid the groundwork for legends of spirits and unexplained phenomena that persist to this day. Spelunkers often report encountering shadowy figures deep within the caves. These forms are typically seen from the corner of the eye, appearing and disappearing as quickly as they are noticed. Sometimes the shapes resemble human silhouettes, often moving as if following or observing the visitor. Others appear more amorphous, floating in the darkness without clear definition, while some dismiss these sightings as tricks of light and imagination. The consistency of reports across multiple caves and over decades suggests a phenomenon that is difficult to ignore. Hikers and cavers frequently recount these encounters as intensely unsettling, particularly when the darkness seems to press in from all sides, amplifying the sense of presence. Auditory phenomena are another hallmark of the Ozark Caves. Visitors have described hearing whispers that seem to come from empty tunnels, faint footsteps echoing behind them, and the sound of voices calling their names. The acoustics of the caves can make ordinary sounds carry and distort, but many explorers insist that the noises they encounter are distinct and purposeful, unlike echoes of their own movements. Some cavers report hearing laughter, faint conversations, or murmurs in languages they do not understand, while others have felt compelled to follow a sound only for it to vanish, leaving them deeper in the darkness with a growing sense of unease. Temperature anomalies are also common within these subterranean networks. Even on warm summer days, cavers have reported sudden, localized drops in temperature, as though cold fingers of air are brushing past. These chills often occur in areas where the passage narrows or descends into deeper chambers, and many report that they feel an invisible presence alongside them when it happens. The cold can be sudden and intense, sometimes lasting only moments, leaving explorers with goosebumps and a lingering sense of being watched. These occurrences, combined with shadows and strange sounds, create an experience that is both physically and psychologically compelling. Several caves in the Ozarks are particularly known for their ghostly reputation. Some of the larger, well-mapped systems have narrow side passages, where the darkness is absolute, and where explorers have reported repeated sightings of figures and unexplained lights. Other smaller, more remote caves are known for sudden noises and feelings of pressure or weight, as if the walls themselves are alive with unseen energy. Experienced spelunkers often advise newcomers to respect the caves, not only for their geological dangers, but also for the sense of history and lingering presence that seems to inhabit the rock. Local legends add further depth to these experiences. Stories speak of Native Americans whose spirits linger to protect sacred sites, settlers who perished in mining accidents, and travelers who never emerged from the labyrinthine passages. Some tales suggest that the caves are repositories of residual energy from those who spent time within them, replaying moments of fear, sadness, or unfinished business. Others portray the caves as protective spaces, where the spirits warn the living of danger, guiding them through treacherous passages or nudging them away from unstable rock formations. These legends, combined with first-hand reports, create a rich tapestry of lore that continues to attract adventurers and those intrigued by the unexplained. Despite the eerie reputation, The Ozark Caves remain popular destinations for cavers, hikers, and adventure seekers. The challenge of navigating winding passages, the thrill of discovery, and the beauty of underground formations, stalagmites, stalagmites, and crystal-clear pools draw visitors from far and wide. Many come with the hope of encountering something extraordinary, whether a glimpse of a shadow, an unexplained sound, or the sensation of being in the presence of the past. Caving guides often emphasize safety, both physical and mental, urging respect for the cave's delicate environment and acknowledgement of the stories that have made them legendary. The Arkansas Ozark Caves are more than geological formations. They are spaces where history, memory, and the unexplained converge. Shadowy figures, whispers from unseen sources, and sudden drops in temperature suggest that the caves hold echoes of the past. Each journey into these subterranean passages offers the chance to experience both the beauty and the mystery of the Ozarks. Visitors leave not only with memories of their physical exploration, but also with the lingering impression of a place alive with history and the faint presence of those who came before. A haunting reminder that even in the depths of stone and darkness, the unknown persists. The Mulberry River, winding through the rugged landscapes of western Arkansas, is celebrated for its clear waters, rapid currents, and scenic surroundings. Kayakers and anglers flock to its banks, drawn by the thrill of paddling through whitewater or the tranquility of casting a line in calm pools. Yet beneath the river's serene surface and picturesque surroundings lies a reputation that many thrill-seekers and nature lovers approach with caution. Locals and visitors alike speak of spectral encounters along the Mulberry River, where shadowy figures appear in the water. Eerie calls echo through the surrounding forest, and a persistent sense of being watched lingers on the riverbanks. These chilling reports suggest that the Mulberry River is not only a natural wonder, but also a place where the unexplained has made its mark. The history of the Mulberry River area contributes to its haunted reputation. For centuries, Native American tribes lived along the river, relying on its waters for fishing, transportation, and ceremonial purposes. Artifacts and historical accounts indicate that the river held spiritual significance, serving as a site for rituals and gatherings. Later, European settlers navigated the river and established homesteads, farms, and small communities along its banks. Accidents were not uncommon. Drownings, hunting mishaps, and sudden storms claimed lives, leaving an imprint on the collective memory of the region. Over time, these tragedies merged with natural phenomena to give rise to stories of lingering spirits and ghostly apparitions that continue to captivate those who explore the river today. One of the most commonly reported phenomena along the Mulberry River is the appearance of figures in the water. Kayakers and anglers often recount seeing vague human shapes emerging or standing within the river's depths. These figures are usually fleeting, appearing as shadowy silhouettes that vanish when approached or illuminated by a flashlight. Some observers claim to see them at dusk or during misty mornings, moments when the river's surface is calm and the forested surroundings cast long, shifting shadows. The forms are sometimes described as wearing old-fashioned clothing, suggesting a connection to the settlers or travelers who once navigated the river, while other sightings are more abstract, leaving witnesses with an uneasy sense of having glimpsed something otherworldly. Auditory experiences are equally prevalent along the Mulberry River. Many visitors have reported hearing eerie calls echoing through the surrounding forest, sounds that carry over the water in ways that defy ordinary explanation. Whispers, indistinct voices, and even faint laughter have been reported, often when no other humans are present nearby. Some kayakers describe hearing their names called from the tree line, only to find no one in sight. Others recount the sound of footsteps splashing in the river, as if someone were moving through the water behind them, vanishing when they turn to investigate. These experiences create an atmosphere that is both unsettling and compelling, transforming the familiar environment of the river into a place alive with hidden presences. The feeling of being watched is another common sensation reported by those exploring the Mulberry River area. Even in broad daylight, visitors describe a subtle, persistent awareness that someone or something is observing their movements. This sensation is often most acute along isolated stretches of the river, where thick forests block visibility and the only sounds are the rush of water and distant bird calls. Hikers and kayakers have recounted sudden chills or a prickling of the skin accompanying the sense of observation, as if unseen eyes track their every move. This invisible presence adds a psychological layer to the physical landscape, heightening both the thrill and the unease of exploring the river's remote reaches. Several locations along the Mulberry River are particularly associated with spectral activity. Narrow channels surrounded by dense trees. Fog and mist frequently settle in these areas, diffusing light and obscuring vision, creating an atmosphere where shadow and reality intermingle. These environmental conditions amplify the impact of any perceived presence, lending credibility to accounts of shadowy figures, mysterious calls, and unseen watchers. Local folklore enriches these experiences further. Stories tell of Native American spirits who linger along the river to protect sacred spaces, of settlers who perished in accidents and continue to roam the banks, and of travelers lost in sudden storms whose echoes remain in the currents. Some legends suggest that the spectral figures serve as warnings, guiding visitors away from hidden dangers in the water, while others portray them as restless entities, replaying moments of their final days. Over time, these stories have merged with eyewitness accounts, creating a shared mythology that preserves both the history and the mystery of the Mulberry River. Despite its eerie reputation, the Mulberry River remains a popular destination for those seeking adventure, solitude, or connection with nature. The combination of clear waters, challenging rapids, and secluded banks offers an unmatched outdoor experience. Visitors are drawn not only to the physical beauty of the river, but also to the possibility of encountering the unknown. Whether it is a fleeting figure, a ghostly voice, or the subtle impression of being watched, guides and locals advise respect for both the natural environment and its spectral legends, emphasizing awareness and caution while encouraging visitors to appreciate the river's unique atmosphere. The Mulberry River area is more than a destination for recreation. It's a space where history, nature, and lingering spirits intersect. Shadowy figures in the water, whispers through the forest, and the persistent sensation of observation suggest that the river preserves echoes of the past, replaying them in subtle, unsettling ways. Each journey along the river offers an opportunity to experience the beauty of the Ozarks and the thrill of the unexplained. Visitors leave not only with memories of flowing water and wooded banks, but also with the lingering impression of a landscape alive with history, mystery, and a presence that continues to inhabit the shadows along the Mulberry River. Arkansas may be celebrated for its natural beauty, but these 25 locations prove that beneath the serenity lie secrets, spirits, and stories that continue to haunt those who venture into the wilderness. From dense forests to sparkling lakes, misty rivers, and towering mountains, the state's landscapes are alive not just with wildlife, but with echoes of the past. Whether it is the restless spirit of a pioneer, a ghostly apparition in a cave, or unexplained phenomena in the mist, these haunted natural places remind us that the beauty of nature often hides a darker, chilling side. If you dare to explore Arkansas, remember that some trails, rivers, and peaks are not empty, and some spirits never rest. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Arkansas's most haunted natural locations. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more spine-tingling adventures into the unknown. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, these haunted landscapes will stay with you long after you leave, whispering the secrets of the past and daring you to explore further.